yeah. We the chosen people, you say no way. Your enemies been teaching you the wrong way. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, yeah. Do you know your history? Yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, yeah. Do you know your history? Yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, yeah.
Do you know it? Tell me, do you know it? Do you know it? Tell me, do you know it? Do you know it? Tell me, do you know it? Do you know it? Tell me, do you know it? Do you know it? Tell me, do you know it? Do you know it? Tell me, do you know it? Do you know it? Tell me, do you know it? Do you know it? Tell me, do you know it? History.
Now we going back. He done on my back for sure. When I let the truth go, we gon' let them know. My people on my back for sure. I hold them down for the road. The Lord Almighty made me. Laws I got, they changed me. We can see the truth now. Got them looking crazy. Man, I'm always searching. Yeah, you hear I'm searching. You hear me, boy, 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 I'm searching. Yeah. Searching for the road to the way back. We don't know our father's going way back. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, yeah. We the chosen people, you say no way. Your enemies been teaching you the wrong way. Searching for the road to the way back. We don't know our father's going way back. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, yeah. We the chosen people, you say no way. Your enemies been teaching you the wrong way. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. Do you know your history? Yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, yeah. Do you know your history? Yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, yeah.
Do you know it? Tell me, do you know it? Do you know it? Tell me, do you know it? Do you know it? Tell me, do you know it? Do you know it? Tell me, do you know it? Do you know it? Tell me, do you know it? Do you know it? Tell me, do you know it? Do you know it? Tell me, do you know it? Do you know it? Tell me, do you know it? History.
Now we going back. He done on my back for sure. When I let the truth go, we gon' let them know. My people on my back for sure. Searching for the road to the way back. We don't know our father's going way back. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, yeah. We the chosen people, you say no way. Your enemies been teaching you the wrong way. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. Do you know your history? Yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, yeah. Do you know your history?
Hey, we on?
Yeah, we on deep.
I don't hear myself. Hey, what's going on? Hey, what's going on, y'all? We are back. You are now tuned into
Our Hidden History Radio Show.
So
Okay.
we're back here, and we're continuing on. We're now heading into the fall of Babylon. The fall of Babylon. All right. So, real quick, let's Let's get into it. We're gonna start off. We left off last week with the Beta Israel, the Ethiopian Jews, undergoing wickedness at the hands of the Israeli government, the Zionist regime, where they were basically forcing us to be pretty much re-Judaized or whatever, or re-circumcised. Madness going on. Using us as test subjects for circumcision. It was madness. All right, so left that. Our brothers over there in Ethiopia, from Ethiopia, our brothers over there from Yemen, who are now living in Israel, facing a lot of persecution. We got into that. They were called, the word philashers means exile. All right, so now they were there since the time of Babylon. They were there since the time of Babylon. They claim descent from, or at least lineage of Ezra and Nehemiah. All right, not Dan. So now we're going to go into the book of the history of Susanna. The history of Susanna. All right, but now we're diving into the fall of Babylon. So we're going to go into the Apocrypha. We're going to read the history of Susanna. All right, in the Apocrypha. And
Officer Abaddon, you good?
Yes, sir.
All praises.
You better not do it. Don't do it. It's awkward silence. I know what that means.
So quiet up in here.
Yo, D, I just asked a question, D.
I know.
Wasn't nothing behind that.
It's like a cue.
Like something's coming behind that.
Something awaiting him, you know? That's a setup, bro. Yeah, exactly. So let's get History of Susanna, chapter 1, verse 1.
All right. History of Susanna, chapter 1, verse 1.
Now read the title where it says History of Susanna what? Set apart?
Oh, okay, got you.
Go ahead, bro. You good?
Set apart, yes, sir.
The
history, I got you. The history of Susanna, set apart from the beginning of Daniel, because it is not in the Hebrew, as neither the narration of Bel and the dragon.
Right. So this is in the beginning of Daniel. This should be in the beginning of Daniel. All right. You're gonna be all right, man. Don't be nervous. It's gonna be all right. All right. So read on. There.
Chapter 1, verse 1. There dwelt a man in Babylon called Joachim, and he took a wife whose name was Susanna, the daughter of Chelcias, a very fair woman and one that feared the Lord. Her parents also were righteous and taught their daughter according to the law of Moses.
They taught Susanna the law of Moses. Yeah, righteous parents. Go ahead.
Now Joachim was a great rich man and had a fair garden joining into his house. And to him resorted the Jews, because he was more honorable than all others.
He was an elder. Go ahead.
The same year were appointed 2 of the ancients of the people to be judges, such as the Lord spake of. That wickedness came from Babylon from ancient judges.
We had wicked elders this is in Babylonian captivity. This is going into Babylonian captivity. We have wicked elders over us while in Babylon. Go ahead.
Who seemed to govern the people. These kept much at Joachim's house, and all that had any suits and laws came unto them.
Right, so they would reside in Joachim's house to handle matters, to judge matters. Go ahead.
Now when the people departed away at noon, Susanna went into her husband's garden to walk. And these 2 elders saw her going in every day and walking, so that their lust was inflamed toward her.
He started lusting toward his wife. Go ahead.
And they perverted their own mind and turned away their eyes, that they might not look unto heaven, nor remember just judgments. And albeit they both were wounded with her love, yet does not one show another her grief.
So both of them are lusting for her, but both of them did not reveal to the other that they were lusting for Joachim's wife. Go ahead.
For they were ashamed to declare their lust, that they desired to do with her. Yet they watched diligently from day to day to see her. And the one said to the other, let us now go home, for it is dinner time. So when they were
going, one guy said, stop. Okay, man, I'm out of here, man. See you later. It's time to go. Go ahead.
So when they were going out, they parted the one from the other, And turning back again, they came to the same place.
They both said, hey, what you doing here? What are you doing here? What are you doing here? Go ahead.
And after that they had asked one another the cause, they acknowledged their lust.
Yo, man, I'm here for Susanna, man. You too? Damn, okay. So I'm not alone. Go ahead.
Then appointed they a time both together, when they might find her alone. And it fell out as they watched.
They plotted. What we gonna do? We gonna get her alone. They plotted. Go ahead.
And it fell out as they watched a fit time. She went in as before with her maids only.
With 2 maids only. Go ahead.
And she was desirous to wash herself in the garden, for it was hot.
So you took a bath. It was hot. Go ahead.
And there was nobody there save the 2 elders that had hid themselves and watched her.
These guys is pervs. Go ahead.
Then she said to her maids, bring me oil and washing balls, and shut the garden doors.
So we had washing balls. They call them loofahs.
Right.
Loofahs. That's what we had back then. Washing balls, and they had oils. So the oils was used to make us smell well. So our women took care of themselves. They smelled very good. They washed themselves. Go ahead.
And shut the garden doors, that I may wash me. And they did as she bade them. And
So she was living well. They had a garden and they had a bathhouse. Okay, they had a garden and they had a bathhouse in the garden because Joachim was well off. Go ahead.
And they did as she bade them, and shut the garden doors, and went out themselves at privy doors to fetch the things that she had commanded them. But they saw not the elders, because they were hid. Now when the maids were gone forth, the 2 elders rose up and ran unto her, saying, behold, the garden doors are shut, that no man can see us, and we are in love with thee. Therefore, consent unto us, and lie with us.
They want to run a train on her now.
Yeah.
They want to run a train on Susanna. Go ahead.
Threesome.
Yeah, threesome. Go ahead.
If thou wilt not, we will bear witness against thee,
If you don't lay with us, we're gonna have you judged. Go ahead.
that a young man was with thee.
They're gonna tell people that a young man was up in here. Go ahead.
And therefore thou didst send away thy maids from thee.
We're gonna accuse you of adultery if you don't sleep with us. Go ahead.
Then Susanna sighed and said, I'm straitened on every
I
side.
said, well, damn. I mean, messing around with you two is adultery. And then if I don't mess around with you two, I'm accused of adultery. Go ahead.
For if I do this thing, it is death unto me.
Right.
And if I do it not, I cannot escape your hands.
If I commit this act, I'm guilty of adultery in the eyes of the Lord. He'll kill me. If I don't do it, you guys will have me killed anyway. Go ahead.
It is better for me to fall into your hands and not do it than to sin in the sight of the Lord.
I'd rather you guys have me judged than do it before the Lord. Go ahead.
With that, Susanna cried with a loud voice.
She screamed.
And the 2 elders cried out against her. Then ran the one and opened the garden door. So when the servants of the house heard the cry in the garden, they rushed in at a privy door to see what was done unto her. But when the elders had declared their matter, the servants were greatly ashamed.
There was a man in here. So they accused her of adultery. Go ahead.
For there was never such a report made of Susanna.
Right. Go ahead.
And it came to pass the next day, when the people were assembled to her husband Jehoiakim, the 2 elders came also, full of mischief, imagination against Susanna, to put her to death, and said before the people, send for Susanna, the daughter of Chelcias, of Jehoiakim's wife. And so they sent. So she came with her father and mother, her children, and her kindred. Now Susanna was a very delicate woman, and beautiful, beauteous to behold.
Beauteous to behold.
Beauteous to behold. And these wicked men commanded to uncover her face, for she was covered,
Face was covered. Go ahead.
that they might be filled with her beauty.
They want to lust after her more on trial. These guys are the worst.
What the hell is this?
Go ahead.
Therefore her friends and all that saw her wept.
They saw her crying because Susanna's a good sister. She ain't known for this. Go ahead.
Then the 2 elders stood up in the midst of the people and laid their hands upon her head. And she was weeping, looking up toward heaven, for her heart trusted in the Lord. And the elders said, as we were in the gardens alone,
As we walked in the garden alone, this woman came in with her 2 maids and shut the garden doors and set the maids away. Then a young man who there was hid came unto her and lay with her. So we saw the sister go into her bathhouse. A young man, she closed the doors behind her. We saw a young man go up in there with her. And she committed adultery with him. Go ahead.
Then we that stood in the corner of the garden, seeing this wickedness, ran unto them. And when we saw them together, the man we could not hold,
Couldn't hold him. He got away.
for he was stronger than we, and opened the door and leaped
Got
out.
away. We couldn't stop him. Go ahead.
But having taken this woman, we asked who the young man was, but she would not tell us. These things do we testify.
Go ahead.
Then the assembly believed them, as those that were the elders and judges of the people.
Right. They believe the lie. Go ahead.
So they condemned her to death.
So adultery. She gets deaf. Go ahead.
So Susanna cried out with a loud voice and said, O everlasting God, that knowest the secrets, and knowest all things before they be. Thou knowest that they have borne false witness against
These
me.
guys are liars. Go ahead.
And behold, I must die. Whereas I never did such things as these men have maliciously invented against me. And the Lord heard her voice.
Lord heard her voice. Go ahead.
Therefore, when she was led to be put to death, the Lord raised up the Holy Spirit of a young
A
youth,
young youth means a little boy. A young youth. Go ahead.
whose name was Daniel,
His name was Daniel. This is Daniel as a little boy. The prophet Daniel. Go ahead.
who cried with a loud voice, I am clear from the blood of this woman.
This is evil. I have no part. I want no part to this. He says. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Then all the people turned them toward him.
They all his little boy said, I am clear from the blood of this woman. So they all turn around. Who said that? Little boy. They all see him there, standing there. Go ahead.
And said, What mean these words that thou hast spoken?
What are you talking about? They said. Go ahead. Regarding Daniel. Go ahead.
So he standing in the midst of them said,
So Daniel, little boy, standing in the midst of the people, says what?
Are ye such fools, ye sons of Israel, that without examination or knowledge of the truth, ye have condemned a daughter of Israel?
Are you guys stupid or something? So this is a little boy telling grown people, are you stupid or something? You guys are going to have her put the death out of doing a thorough examination or a thorough investigation? This is a child now. Go ahead.
Return again to the place of judgment.
Let's go back into the courthouse and deal with this properly. Go ahead.
For they have borne false witness against her.
These niggas is liars. That's what he's saying. Go ahead.
Wherefore all the people turned again in haste, and the elders said unto him, Come, sit down with among us, and show it us, seeing God hath given thee the honor of an elder.
They're being sarcastic. Okay, since God gave you the spirit of an elder, let's see how you deal with it. Go ahead.
Then said Daniel unto them, Put these two aside, one far from another, and I will examine them. So when they were put asunder one from another, he called one of them, and said unto him, O thou that art waxen old in wickedness, now thy sins which thou hast committed aforetime are come to light.
Because these guys have been doing this for a long time. Susanna isn't the first woman they did this to. This is an ongoing thing with these dudes. Go ahead. He goes, this time you guys are getting it revealed. You're going to be exposed. Go ahead.
For thou hast pronounced false judgment, and hast condemned the innocent, and hast let the guilty go free. Howbeit, the Lord saith, the innocent and the righteous shalt thou not slay.
Go ahead.
Now then, if thou hast seen her, tell me, under what tree sawest thou them companying together?
So if you saw her sleep with this guy that got away from you, when they were sleeping together, what tree were they under? Go ahead.
Who answered, Under a mastic tree.
Under a master tree, he says. Go ahead.
And Daniel said, Very well, thou hast lied against thine own head. For even now the angel of God hath received the sentence of God to cut thee in two.
God's going to kill you. Go ahead.
So he put them aside and commanded to bring the other, and said unto him, O thou seed of Canaan.
Damn, you called him a Hamite. Oh, seed of Canaan. Little boy. Little boy said, oh, seed of Hamite. Go ahead.
And not of Judah.
You ain't no damn Judite. Go ahead.
Beauty hath deceived thee, and lust hath perverted thine heart.
You lusting for this sister. It's all about lust. Go ahead.
Thus have ye dealt with the daughters of Israel.
Thus have you dealt with the daughters of Israel. You've done this before. This isn't your first time. Go ahead.
And they for fear companied with you.
And they out of fear, Israel's sisters, they out of fear, they slept with you. Go ahead.
But the daughter of Judah would not abide your wickedness.
But this sister, she said, no, I'm not doing that. Go ahead.
Now therefore, tell me,
That's right.
under what tree didst thou take them companying together?
So under what tree did you see her sleep with this guy that got away? Go ahead.
Who answered, Under a home tree.
Under a home tree. Go ahead.
Then said Daniel unto him, Well, thou hast also lied against thine own head. For the angel of God waiteth with the sword to cut thee in two, that he may destroy you. With that, all the assembled cried out with a loud voice and praised God, who saved them that trusted in him, that
Right.
trusted
So
in him.
because they got caught in a lie. One said massive tree. One said a home tree. So they both saw the same thing, but two different trees. You guys are liars. Go ahead.
And they arose against the two elders, for Daniel had convicted them of false witness by their own mouth. And according to the law of Moses, they did unto them in such sort as they have maliciously intended to do to their neighbor, and they put them to death. Thus the innocent blood was saved the same day. Therefore Celsius and his wife praised God for their daughter Susanna with Jehoiakim her husband, and all the kindred, because there was no dishonesty found in her.
Watch this.
From that day forth was Daniel had in great reputation in the sight of the people.
So Daniel, the little boy, was had in great reputation among the side of the people. This is before Daniel was taken into the Babylonians. This is before he got put into their hands, because he was had in great reputation among our people as being a child of wisdom. So they took him. So now get Daniel chapter 1, and we're gonna be verse 1.
The book of Daniel, chapter 1 and verse 1. In the 3rd year of the reign of Jehoiakim, king of Judah, came Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, unto Jerusalem, and besieged it. And the Lord gave Jehoiakim, king of Judah, into his hand, with part of the vessels of the house of God, which he carried into the land of Shinar, to the house of his God.
Right.
And he brought the vessels into the treasure house of his God. And the king spake unto Ashpenaz, the master of his eunuchs.
The master of his eunuchs. Go ahead.
That he should bring certain of the children of Israel, and of the king's seed, and of the princes, children in whom was no blemish, but well favored.
Had an honor, like Daniel was in Susanna. He was had an honor, so he was taken among the children, like him. Go ahead.
And skillful in all wisdom, and cunning in knowledge, and understanding science, and such as had ability in them to stand in the king's palace.
Daniel. Go ahead.
And whom they might teach the learning and the tongue of the Chaldeans. And the king appointed them a daily provision of the king's meat, and of the wine which he had drank, so nourishing them 3 years, that at the end thereof they might stand before the king. Now among these were the children of Judah, Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, unto whom the prince of the eunuchs gave names, for he had gave unto Daniel the name of Belshazzar, and to Hananiah of Shadrach, and to Mishael of Meshach, and to Azariah of Abednego.
These are different pagan god names. Okay? They renamed them. You can go in captivity, go into slavery, your name was changed. Joseph's name was changed. Daniel's name was changed. Mishael, Azariah, Hananiah, their names were changed. Go ahead.
But Daniel purposed in his heart that he would not defile himself with the portion of the king's meat, nor with the wine which he drank. Therefore, he requested of the prince of the eunuchs that he might not defile himself.
Go ahead. He requested that his diet be changed. Go ahead.
Now God had brought Daniel into favor and tender love with the prince of the eunuchs.
Because Daniel and those Stephen brothers were all made eunuchs. Susanna, history of Susanna, was before he was made a eunuch. All right? This is before. Go ahead.
And the prince of the eunuchs said unto Daniel, I fear my lord the king, who hath appointed your meat and your drink. For why should he see your faces worse liking than the children which are your sort? Then shall ye make me endanger my head to the king. Then said Daniel to Melzar, whom the prince of the eunuchs had set over Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, prove thy servants, I beseech thee, 10 days, and let them give us pulse to eat and water to drink. Then let our countenance...
Give us vegetables and give us water to drink. Rather than the king's meat, give us vegetables and water. We'll be good. Go ahead.
Then let our countenances be looked upon before thee, and the countenances of the children that eat of the portion of the king's meat. As thou seest, deal with thy servants. So he consented to them in this matter, and proved them 10 days. And at the end of 10 days, their countenance appeared fairer and fatter in flesh than all the children which did eat the portion of the king's meat.
So when they ate vegetables only and drank water, they seemed healthier and fatter in flesh and healthier than those who ate the king's meat. Go ahead.
Thus, Melzar took away the portion of their meat and the wine that they should drink, and gave them pause.
And because of Daniel and those 3 brothers, he gave everyone that same diet regimen because of that. Go ahead.
As for these 4 children, God gave them knowledge and skill in all learning and wisdom. And Daniel had understanding in all visions and dreams.
Daniel had understanding in all visions and dreams. That's how Daniel was able to see in the spirit what took place with those elders back in Susanna. Them all them sisters, them hiding around, hiding and watching in the bathhouse. Daniel saw all that in the vision, in the spirit. That's why he said, you guys are wrong, you guys are misjudging the sister. You guys are wrong. Go ahead.
Now, at the end of the days that the king had said he should bring them in, then the prince of the eunuchs brought them in before Nebuchadnezzar. And the king communed with them. And among them all was found none like Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah.
These guys are special. Go ahead.
Therefore stood they before the king. And in all matters of wisdom and understanding.
All matters of wisdom and understanding. Go ahead.
That the king inquired of them. He found them 10 times better than all the magicians and astrologers that were in all his realm.
So Daniel and the 3 brothers were excelled beyond even his own people in wisdom. His witches, his sorcerers, Daniel and them superseded them. All right, now give me Daniel chapter 2. We're gonna read on down.
Yes, sir. Daniel chapter 2, verse 1. And in the 2nd year of the reign of Nebuchadnezzar, Nebuchadnezzar dreamed dreams, wherewith his spirit was troubled, and his sleep brake from him.
You had a nightmare, basically. Go ahead.
Then the king commanded to all the magicians, and the astrologers, and the sorcerers, and the Chaldeans, for to show the king his dreams. So they came and stood before the king. And the king said unto them, I have dreamed a dream, and my spirit was troubled to know the dream. Then spake the Chaldeans to the king of Syria,
To the king in Syriac. Then spake the Chaldeans to the king in Syriac, meaning Aramaic. Syriac is the language, is a Syrian tongue that goes back to Aramaic. Go ahead.
O king, live forever.
Keep that in mind, by the way, Syriac or Aramaic. Keep that in mind. Go ahead.
Tell thy servants the dream, and we will show thee the interpretation. The king answered and said to the Chaldeans, the thing is gone from me.
So the king wanted his magicians to remind him about a dream he had and forgot.
And forgot it.
So he had a dream. He said, I don't remember the dream. Just tell it back to me. Because you guys are magicians, right? So you should be able to tell me what you know, you have a dream, you forget about the dream.
Right.
Or you remember certain portions. He wanted to remember everything. You guys are going to tell me what my dream was.
Verbatim.
Verbatim, because I forgot it. And it bothers me. I want to know what the dream's about. So bring it back to my memory. Go ahead.
And Dick, if that's to show you that the astrologers, like our sister, they always like to put their faith in a horoscope, which is garbage.
Yep.
Because they couldn't tell exactly what the dream was. Mm-hmm. So when you put your faith, like some people be going and get their palms.
Well, the zodiac and all that stuff. Right? Palm readings.
Right, it's garbage. That's what's the most I'm showing you right there. Mm-hmm. So they're just stealing your money.
Yep.
So he knew. They didn't know. It's like, yeah, y'all better tell me because I'm paying you a lot of money.
You better figure this out.
You better figure it out. You better figure this out.
Because I had a nightmare. That thing is troubling me.
Right. So tell me what my nightmare was. Tell me what my dream was. Go ahead.
If you will not make known unto me the dream.
You can't bring to my attention. Once you have a dream and forget about it, if somebody come and tells you what the dream was, you'll remember. Oh yeah, that wasn't a dream.
Right.
So he wants these guys to bring back to his remembrance what his dream was about. If you can't do that, go ahead, read again.
If ye will not make known unto me the dream, with the interpretation thereof, ye shall be cut in pieces, and your houses shall be made a dunghill.
I'm going to have you guys cut in pieces and turn your houses into a pile of crap. Go ahead.
But if ye shew the dream and the interpretation thereof,
you reveal the dream to me and interpret what it meant. Go ahead.
Ye shall receive of me gifts and rewards and great honor.
You gain status. Go ahead. Higher status. Go ahead.
Therefore, shew me the dream and the interpretation thereof.
Break it down. Go ahead.
They answered again and said, let the king tell his servants the dream, and we will shew thee the interpretation of it.
We lied to you.
The king answered and said, I know of certainty that ye would gain the time, because ye see the thing is gone from me.
He said, I know of a certainty. You'll figure it out, because I don't remember. So they said, tell us the dream again. He said, you'll figure it out, because, I forgot. Go ahead.
But if you will not make known unto me the dream, there is but one decree for you. For ye have prepared lying and corrupt words to speak before me, till the time be changed. Therefore, tell me the dream, and I shall know that ye can shew me the interpretation thereof.
Right, so whatever I do remember, I'm not going to tell you. You just lie. You'll just go up that lie and try to make something up. So I'm not telling you nothing. You figure it out. Otherwise, I'm going to kill you and turn your house into a pile of crap.
They heart beating. They sweating right now.
They sweating. They're like, oh, God.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
The Chaldeans answered before the king and said,
So getting fired at that time was getting put to death. Getting fired was getting death.
All right, that's it.
Go ahead.
The Chaldeans answered before the king and said, there is not a man upon the earth that can show the king's matter. Therefore, there is no king, therefore, there is no king, Lord, no ruler that acts such things at any magician or astrologer or Chaldean.
No one can do this. What you're asking of us is impossible. Go ahead.
And it is a rare thing that the king requires.
This is something that you don't normally ask these type of things. This is rare. Why are you asking this of us? Go ahead.
And there is none other that can show it before the king, except the gods whose dwelling is not with flesh.
Go ahead. Only the gods can do that for you. Go ahead.
For this cause the king was angry and very furious, and commanded to destroy all the wise men of Babylon.
Well, you can't figure out the dream. I'm going to kill everybody.
Damn.
Everybody going to get fired. You're all fired. This means death. Go ahead.
And the decree went forth that the wise men should be slain.
You get their last paycheck. Go ahead.
And they sought Daniel and his fellows to be slain.
Go ahead.
Then Daniel answered with counsel and wisdom to Arioch, the captain of the king's guard, which was gone forth to slay the wise men of Babylon.
Go ahead.
He answered and said to Arioch, the king's captain, why is the decree so hasty from the king?
Why the king want to have us killed so fast? What's this? Why he's moving so quick to kill everybody? Go ahead.
What's going on?
Then Arioch made the thing known to Daniel. Then Daniel went in and desired of the king that he would give him time,
Give me some time. I'll figure it out. Go ahead.
and that he would shew the king the interpretation.
I'll bring your dream back. I can figure it out. Go ahead.
Then Daniel went to his house and made the thing known to Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, his companions, that they would desire mercies of the God of heaven concerning this secret, that Daniel and his fellows should not perish with the rest of the wise men of Babylon. Then was the secret revealed unto Daniel at a night vision. Then Daniel blessed the God of heaven.
So God showed Daniel the same dream that he gave to Nebuchadnezzar. That is crazy. And he said, I can figure this out. All right. And he blessed the Lord. Go ahead.
Daniel answered and said, blessed be the name of God forever and ever, for wisdom and might are his.
Go on.
And he changeth the times and the seasons. He removeth kings and setteth up kings. He giveth wisdom unto the wise, and knowledge to them that know understanding. He revealeth the deep and secret things. He knoweth what is in the darkness, and the light dwelleth with him.
Go ahead.
I thank thee and praise thee, O thou God of my fathers, whom hast given me wisdom and might, and hast made known unto me now what we desired of thee. For thou hast now made known unto us the king's matter.
Go ahead.
Therefore Daniel went in unto Arioch, whom the king had ordained to destroy the wise men of Babylon. He went and said thus unto him, destroy not the wise men of Babylon.
Don't kill your elders, counselors. Go ahead.
Bring me in before the king, and I will shew unto the king the interpretation.
Bring me to the king, and I'll show him his dream and what it means.
Then Arioch brought in Daniel before the king in haste, and said thus unto him, I have found a man of the captives of Judah that will make known unto the king the interpretation. Mm-hmm. The king answered and said to Daniel, whose name was Belteshazzar? Art thou able to make known unto me?
No, the king answered and said to Daniel, whose name was Belshazzar. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Art thou able to make that?
Art thou able to make known unto me the dream which I have seen and the interpretation thereof?
Go ahead.
Daniel answered in the presence of the king and said, the secret which the king hath demanded cannot the wise men, the astrologer, the magicians, the soothsayers show unto the king.
So Daniel makes it clear. This what you're asking, this dream you're asking about, these guys you have can't interpret this dream. I mean, what Daniel was saying was, these guys is useless.
They're fraud.
These guys is phony. They can't help you. I can help, but the God I deal with, he can help you.
That's
Go ahead.
right.
But there is a God in heaven that revealeth secrets, and maketh known to the king Nebuchadnezzar what shall be in the latter days.
What shall be in the latter days? Because Babylon is the beginning of the kingdoms that were to reign until the last days. That's what he's saying. The time of the Gentiles is the kings, the empires that were going to reign from Babylon up until today, leading into the last days. That's what he's saying. Go ahead.
Thy dream and the visions of thy head upon thy bed are these. As for thee, O king, thy thoughts came into thy mind upon thy bed, what should come to pass hereafter.
So your dreams that you had is based upon the times of the future, what happens after your kingdom. Go ahead.
And he that revealeth secrets maketh known to thee what shall come to pass.
And the God that I serve made known to you what's going to happen to your dream. Go ahead.
But as for me, this secret is not revealed to me for any wisdom that I have more than any living.
It's not because I'm special. Go ahead.
But for their sakes that shall make known the interpretation to the king, and that thou mightest know the thoughts of thy heart. Thou, O king, sawest and behold a great image.
So you saw a great image. Go ahead.
This great image, whose brightness was excellent, stood before thee, and the form thereof was terrible.
Go ahead.
This image's head was of fine gold.
This image's head you saw was a man. It was a fine gold. Go ahead.
His breasts and his arms of silver.
Breasts and arms of silver.
His belly and his thighs of brass.
Thighs of brass. Go ahead.
His legs of iron. His feet, part of iron and part of clay.
His feet were iron and part clay. Go ahead.
Thou sawest till that a stone was cut out without hands, which smote the image upon his feet that were of iron and clay, and brake them to pieces. Mm-hmm. Then was the iron, the clay, the brass, the silver, and the gold broken to pieces together, and became like the chaff of the summer threshing floors.
They all fell. The stone came out of nowhere and smashed this image, and it was destroyed. Go ahead.
And the wind carried them away, that no place was found for them.
And they never ruled again. Go ahead.
And the stone that smote the image became a great mountain and filled the whole earth.
And ruled the world afterwards. Go ahead.
This is the dream, and we will tell the interpretation, therefore.
That's the dream you had, right? This is the dream you're talking about? Go ahead.
This is the dream, and we will tell the interpretation thereof before the king. Thou, O king, art a king of kings, for the God of heaven hath given thee a kingdom, power, and strength, and glory.
The God of heaven that I serve gave you this kingdom. He's the reason why you rule now. Go ahead.
And wheresoever the children of men dwell, the beasts of the fields and the fowls of the heaven have given unto thy hand, and has made thee ruler over them all. Thou art this head of gold.
So in that image you saw in your dream of the head of fine gold, that head of gold is you and your empire, Babylon. The head of gold is your empire. Go ahead.
And after thee shall arise another kingdom, inferior to thee.
Inferior to thee goes into the Medes. The Medes, who are inferior, who are weaker than you, they're going to rule after you. They're going to gain dominion after your kingdom. Go ahead.
And another third kingdom of brass, which shall bear rule over all the earth.
Another kingdom is going into the Greeks. Go ahead.
And the fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron.
That's Rome. The fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron. That's Rome. Go ahead.
For as much as iron breaketh in pieces and subdueth all things, and as iron that breaketh all these, shall it break in pieces and bruise.
Rome. Go ahead.
And whereas thou sawest the feet and toes.
It says the fourth. It says, what is that?
Verse 40.
Verse 40.
The fourth. Let me go back real quick. Where it says his legs. The legs is iron. So Rome is the legs of this image. Rome is the legs. And the feet and toes of this image is America. The feet and toes of it is going into America and the EU.
I'm sorry, you want to put the image up?
Yeah, put the image up. Everybody can see. This is an illustration of what Nebuchadnezzar saw. So you see up here, you hear the head of gold, that's Babylon. And you have the arms, see the chest, that goes into Medo-Persia, inferior to thee. You go down, and you have right there, you have the brass, that goes into Greece, Alexander, and you go into Rome, that is the legs. And then you go down to the feet, you see the feet is weaker. Once you smash the feet, everything falls.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And the feet are weak. The feet are part clay and part iron. That's weak Because the gold is a strong metal. So iron is a strong metal. Brass, silver, these are strong metals. But then the thing that holds up these metals is clay and freaking iron.
Don't add up.
And since clay and iron don't mix, them feet are fragile. So the feet represents the EU and America, the European Union and America, because America is an extension of Rome. And the EU is what supports Rome, okay? Because remember, America comes out of the country that's part of the EU, which is Britain. America is an extension of Britain or an extension of Rome. Britain is all the EU themselves are an extension of Rome. That's why that's why the feet are part of the legs, because the 10 toes are part iron and part clay, because the 10 toes are the 10 common markers of the EU, European Union, or the European Community, or NATO, right? They all derive from Rome. And the clay represents America, because America, who comes out of those 10 toes, going into Britain, America comes out of that, and America did what? Invited all nations into itself, a melting pot or clay, other nations. So all nations being gathered together, it makes the empire what? Weak. Weak. Racial division, segregation is weak, so it's iron mixed with clay. Rather than being a fully Roman Empire, it's Rome mixed with Arab, mixed with African, mixed with China. It's all over. It's a melting pot. It's a bunch of nations all together in confusion. So it's a weak, frail nation. The 10 toes is weakness, America, and the EU.
So it's like militarily strong, but
socially, right.
Morally weak.
Morally and socially weak.
So very immoral. There's a lot of immorality in this country.
Right.
That makes it weak.
Right. So the toes, EU is European Union, America is just going into that. All right? So read on.
Verse 41. And whereas thou sawest the feet and toes, part of potter's clay and part of iron.
Potter's clay going into the people, a bunch of people, melting pot going into America, and iron as an extension of Rome. Go ahead. EU.
The kingdom.
That's why some of y'all will say, oh, how do you know? I'm going to give you an example. And I brought this out in class weeks ago. The European Union, you know what established the European Union? It was called the Treaty of Rome. Mm-hmm. That's what established the European Union. It was called the European Community. All right, the European, get real quick, Treaty of Rome. I'll show you. You know what movie this is in? The Omen. The Omen shows it.
Damn.
Shout out to Officer Nicholas, I believe. He brought this to my attention. All right, shout out to him for bringing this up to my attention. I didn't even know that was in the movie. Treaty of Rome. Click that.
You brothers in the sound effect are doing good.
Yeah, y'all all right.
Better, bro.
Y'all all right. Y'all awake today.
Yeah.
Treaty of Rome, the EEC. Read that, please.
The Treaty of Rome.
Why Treaty of Rome? Why? Because these nations are an extension of that empire.
They're Romans.
They're Romans. Greeks, same thing. Greco-Romans. Yep. Read that.
The Treaty of Rome, EEC.
The EEC, watch.
Treaty establishing the European Economic Community.
The European Economic Community, but later on became as the European Union. NATO is the same thing. Go ahead.
2 treaties were signed on the 25th March 1957. The treaty establishing the European Economic Community, the EEC, and the treaty establishing the European Atomic Energy Community, the EAEC, or Euratom. For both new communities, decisions were taken by the Council on a proposal from the Commission. The Parliamentary Assembly is to be consulted and give its opinions to the Council. The Assembly increases in size to 142 members. The European Parliamentary Assembly held its first session the following year on March 19th, 1958, with the Treaties of Rome. A specific provision is made for members to be directly elected. This was implemented in 1979.
So, there's more?
Signed in Rome, Italy.
So why? Why was it signed in Rome, Italy? Because that's their origin. That's where they're from. And it started with the Big Six. And one of the Big Six was the UK. That's Britain. America descends from who? Extends from who? Britain. It's the same people. They all extend from the same empire.
No coincidence.
No coincidence. While they were signing that treaty in Rome, it is no coincidence. These are Romans signing a treaty of Rome. The European Union is the Treaty of Rome, a treaty of Romans. That's why it's called that. Now goes, no, because it's in the land. No, because they had a treaty, they signed it in Rome. That's why it's called that. No, because they are from there. And guess what? The United Nations building. Where is it located? Let's look it up. United Nations building. Let's look it up. That's where it started.
And part of it says Euro atoms, like with the atom bombs.
Right.
So you look at it, it's all amongst them. They don't want majority of them have the bomb.
Yeah, they share that nuclear secret amongst themselves.
Technology, yeah.
Right.
That technology, right?
Right. I believe this is a start of the League of Nations, the European Union first, I believe. It started with them first.
Headquarters of the United Nations.
Where?
The United Nations is headquartered in New York City.
Where?
In New York City.
Why? Why not Rome? Because America is the capital of everything. United Nations buildings here, the IMF buildings here, the World Bank is here, the Stock Exchange is here, the World Trade Center buildings were here in America because this is the capital.
Satan's seat.
This is Satan's seat. And the capital, D.C., is Satan's ass. I always say it all the time. It is.
It's like the Empire City.
Empire, that's why it's called the Empire State.
Empire State, right?
And when you look up Google why New York is called the Empire State, there's no logical answer. Because it's rumored that because it is a state within the empire. America is an empire. And those you white folks who's watching, I call y'all Nova niggas. Y'all the new niggas now. Now you know how it feel to be niggas. Your rights are removed. Any rights you thought you had are gone. They fire you now for mandating laws against you, experimenting on you with all these weird mosquito bites as Deacon Malachi brought out last night, or these jabs. So y'all the new Negroes now. No rights. You're losing your jobs. Discriminated against for not wearing a mask. Nova Negroes. Welcome to our world.
Welcome home.
Welcome to our world.
Say welcome home.
How's it feel to be me? Go down where we at. Go down to the origin of it. United Nations. I don't give misinformation. Is there an origin? Or explain why? How it was formed?
Planning. Go to planning.
Go to planning. How it came about.
All right. Can you is that everything? All right. Planning. Site. The headquarters of the United Nations occupies a site beside the East River between 42nd and 48th Street.
Oh yeah. Let's skip to that. Skip to the point where it goes into why they were founded. Does it go into that?
Nah, go down.
Design.
You gotta probably go to history.
Yeah, they don't have it there.
Nah, this on the
Go to history. Go to history of United Nations. Not planning.
Nah, that's under history. That's the start of it.
That's it? Okay, go ahead. Does it explain how? Why?
Nah, they just talking about the design and the building.
Just type in history of United Nations. Let me make sure I got this point correct. Real fast.
You saw the forming.
Yeah, forming of the United Nations. Go there if you want. The forming of, whatever.
It's on Wikipedia too. United Nations.
We just came from there.
Yeah, it says history right here.
Forming.
Right.
Background, maybe? What did that say? What's this for? What's this under? Okay, see what it says. 1914. Come on. Does it explain anything here?
In 1914, political assassination in Sarajevo set off a chain of events that led to the outbreak of World War I. As more and more young men were sent down into the trenches, influential voices in Britain and the United States began calling for the establishment of a permanent international body to maintain peace in the post-war world. President Woodrow Wilson became a vocal advocate of this concept, and in 1918 he included a sketch of the international body in his 14 points to end the war. In November 1918, the Central Powers agreed to an armistice to halt the killing in World War I. 2 months later, the Allies met to hammer out formal peace terms at the Paris Peace Conference.
Allies is going to Europe. Go ahead.
The League of Nations was approved, and in the summer of 1919, Wilson presented the Treaty of Versailles and the Covenant of the League of Nations to the U.S. Senate, which refused to consent the ratification. On January 10th, 1920, the League of Nations formally came into being when the Covenant of the League of Nations, ratified by 42 nations in 1919, took effect. The League Council acted as a type of executive body directing the Assembly's business. It began with 4 permanent members: Great Britain, France, Italy, and Japan. Although the United States never joined the League, the country did support its economic and social missions through the work of private philanthropies and by sending representatives to committees. After some
Japan joined, 'cause Japan got their ass beat. That's why they got the bombed them. That's why they joined.
You can't beat them,
They had
join
no
them.
choice. Can't beat them, join them. But the main 4 is Great Britain, France, Italy, which goes back to the Big 6 as well. The UK go back to the Big 6 as well. Right. These are still leagues of Europeans. They're still the same thing. Japan, they joined it. They got sunned. They had to join. You better join us. We'll bomb you again. All right, when you go to World War II. What's it at? It's not going into that. I don't want to go too much into it. I'll go into another time. So I don't want a sidebar. All right. The UN was established after World War II. I saw Japan join. See, after World War II, Japan joined because they got sunned by that bomb. When Esau had that fire fall from that sky.
And Dick, when they had that Paris Convention thing earlier, that's around 19. That was around when they had the Balfour Declaration.
Right. Yep.
Because it was at 1919. If you go back into it, so that's a couple of years I think before the League of Nations was created. So they had that draw out that Balfour Declaration.
But the founding members of the League of Nations is Europeans. It's like the EU is obviously European Union is obviously Europeans as well. But all these leagues are the same thing. But I know there's just a link regarding the United Nations and the European Union. I know there's a link. EU is the same, pretty much. I'll go to that another time.
But in all, they Esau started it and they the majority of it, even though others were added.
Right, added later on. Like the United Nations. I mean, the European Union. Other nations came later on, but same thing. So where we at? I'll go into another time.
Daniel chapter 2 verse.
I'll probably go into that when I touch Rome. I'll go into that again. We're gonna come back here again anyway. Where you at?
Chapter 2 verse 41.
Go ahead.
And whereas thou sawest the feet and toes, part of potter's clay and part of iron, the kingdom shall be divided, but there shall be in it of the strength of the iron, for as much as thou sawest the iron mixed with miry clay. And as the toes of the feet were part of iron and part of clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken.
Because there's multiple nations gathered into the land. It's a melting pot. It's strong militarily, as Officer Laquat was saying earlier, but socially weak, religiously weak. Because you got democracy here, you got Catholicism, Islam. It's a conglomerate it's an amalgamation of nonsense. So it's weak socially. That's why there's no racial equality here. There's no peace here. Racial equality is non-existent here. It's weak. Because all nations should not be together.
Right.
Go ahead.
Verse 43. And whereas thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men.
Mingle themselves, meaning they shall mingle themselves or have all nations gathered within them. Go ahead.
But
they just the clay within the iron. Go ahead.
But they shall not cleave one to another.
There will not be racial equality. There will not be racial peace. There will be beef going on. Go ahead.
Even as iron is not mixed with clay.
Because iron is not meant to be mixed with clay. That's why it's weak. That's why the stone that came and smashed the image, smashed what first? The toes. That's the weakest part. America is the weakest extension of Rome. Go ahead.
And in the days of these kings shall the God of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed, And the kingdom shall not be left to other people, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever.
Yeah, the kingdom to come is going to come and destroy these kingdoms. Go ahead.
For as much as thou sawest that the stone was cut out the mountain without hands, and that it break in pieces the iron, the brass, the clay, the silver, and the gold, the great God hath made known to the king what shall come to pass hereafter. And the dream is certain, and the interpretation thereof sure.
That's your dream, and that's the breakdown of your dream, right? Go ahead.
Then the king Nebuchadnezzar fell upon his face and worshipped Daniel, and commanded that they should offer oblation and sweet odors unto him. The king answered unto Daniel and said, Of a truth it is that your God is a God of gods, and the Lord of kings, and a revealer of secrets, seeing thou couldst reveal this secret. Then the king made Daniel a great man, and gave him many great gifts, and made him ruler over the whole province of Babylon, and chief of the governors over all the wise men of Babylon.
Daniel got a promotion. Daniel got a promotion. You got status and getting promotion. Go ahead.
Then Daniel requested of the king, and he set Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego over the affairs of the province of Babylon.
Looked out for his boys. Listen, give my boys jobs too. He gave, and the king said, no problem, and gave them promotions also, because they helped Daniel. Go ahead.
But Daniel sat in the gate of the king.
Daniel sat in the gate of the king. So Daniel had some status in Babylon. Now, where we at? Give me chapter 3, verse 1. We're going to read to verse 23.
Daniel chapter 3 and verse 1. Nebuchadnezzar the king made an image of gold, whose height was threescore cubits.
60 cubits. Go ahead.
And the breadth thereof 6 cubits. He set it up in the plain of Dura, in the province of Babylon.
Nebuchadnezzar built a statue. He basically built a statue. Sounds very familiar. We're going to get to that in a minute. Built the statue up in this area. Go ahead. In the province of Babylon. Go ahead.
Then Nebuchadnezzar the king sent to gather together the princes, the governors, and the captains, the judges, the treasurers, the counselors, the sheriffs, and all the rulers of the provinces to come to the dedication of the image which Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up.
Come on.
Then the princes, the governors, and the captains, the judges, the treasurers, the counselors, the sheriffs, and all the rulers of the provinces were gathered together unto the dedication of the image that Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up. And they stood before the image that Nebuchadnezzar had set up. Then all herald cried.
Then
an herald cried aloud.
Take your time, bro.
Yes, sir. Then an herald cried aloud, To you it is commanded, O people, nations, and languages, that at what time ye hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, dulcimer, and all kinds of music, ye fall down and worship the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar the king hath set up.
So there will come a time where you're going to hear music play, and you have to stop what you're doing and bow down when the music plays for this image. Now, some of y'all are saying, well, what does that sound like? Shout out to Captain Sakar for bringing this joint out when he was on Clubhouse. He brought this to my attention. This is heavy. He has a standing image. Music starts to play. Stop what you're doing and give honor to that image. What is that called today? It's called the National Anthem. National Anthem.
You want to put that up?
No, don't do that. What? Put what up?
No, put it when the people everybody stop and then.
Yeah, you can put that. You can do that.
People go out, see
the National Anthem. That's what this is.
Everything stops.
Everything stops, and that plays. It come on. Back in the day, when I was younger, it would come on TV. It would stop. Programs would stop.
Everything stopped.
And you would just stop. You would just stand there and put your hand in your chest.
And like Captain Zakar was saying, that's why was it in the Kaepernick?
Yeah, Colin Kaepernick. He got in trouble for that.
He got trouble for that. For not doing Daniel.
Yep, right. The same with Daniel. That's why and they'll show the waving flag,
right.
And they'll show the Statue of Liberty.
Right.
That's the image.
Yeah.
So what Kaepernick did was equivalent to what Daniel did.
Yep, pretty much.
But Daniel just stood up. Kaepernick stood down.
Right.
Yeah, pretty
so
much.
That's the only difference. Because back then, everybody just took a knee.
Right.
And now they have a way of modernizing all these. Now they have what they do is to make it more alluring. They'll have celebrities sing it. Whitney Houston.
Right.
Beyonce. Luther Vandross.
All the black superstars.
Mainly black. Selena Gomez, I see her up here doing it also. I don't know if that was shit. I think she's Jake. Her singing the national anthem, all that stuff. Get best play.
I got the disclaimer.
I should put a football one on.
Yeah, why you get hockey?
Yeah, get football. We're black up here. We got hockey for.
Yeah.
Who's white? Who's white over here?
Yeah, you can have a country singer.
Get up.
As a guy over there.
Oh man.
Oh man.
Damn.
Jeez.
Oh, that other side came out, huh?
Oh wow. The other side came out. There's evil in your heart over here, man.
Hockey and rugby.
Brothers got hockey and freaking
Soccer.
Football, man. Not soccer.
Nah, this good. This good. This good.
It's fine.
I think she
She Northern Kingdom.
No.
Grande? Yeah.
No. She's Esau, right?
Grande?
Nah, she Northern
She's
Kingdom.
Italian.
No, that's Selena Gomez. No, that's what's her name?
Ariana Grande is
Oh
Italian.
man,
Whatever. That's her song anyway. She's Italian.
you know you about to look it up.
It's even fitting if she is.
brothers in the back, man. Stay in the spirit, man. I see her head.
Brothers putting their hand up.
Trying to say.
So it's Sicilian, I think.
Yeah.
Selena Gomez is us, but I think she a nigga too. Maybe Ephraim say that they're Italians.
Bro, look at that chin.
It's like Thor with a football jersey on. Come on, yeah, come with the hammer and.
Look like Braveheart. They all look like Braveheart.
Right. You see how quiet everybody is? Oh God.
So that's a replay of Nebuchadnezzar Babylon.
Right.
Ancient Babylon.
And America's called what? The daughter of Babylon.
So the same attention Daniel got, the same attention Kaepernick got. when he
I
said
saw
that.
one. People start crying in here.
But the difference is,
Look at the white guy. Look at the white guy's face.
I love America.
my father stole, robbed, and killed
Killed
for my
these
freedom.
killed savages and niggas.
For my freedom.
Praise white
And
Jesus.
you niggas are bound.
That's why you had the Statue of Liberty. If you notice, I mentioned that the 10 toes, the Statue of Liberty, she has 7 horns on top of her head, and her 10 toes are exposed.
And also she got a chain.
And a chain on her feet representing slavery ending or whatever, some nonsense.
Yep.
It's not a coincidence. Where we at?
Daniel chapter 3, verse 6. now.
This is a
Verse 6,
visual.
though. Go ahead.
Verse 6.
Watch this. Verse 6.
And whoso falleth not down and worshipeth shall the same hour be cast into the midst of the burning fire.
Fall not down, because what they usually do is take a knee. Fall not down. And today, we take a knee. Like the athletes took a knee. Kaepernick was like, no, I'm not taking a knee. I believe that's how it went, right?
No, he took the
No,
knee.
he took a knee. It was
Yeah.
supposed to stand
They
up.
usually stand.
For the stand,
It's opposite
he took
now.
right. He took a knee. Right. He's supposed to stand. He took a knee instead. Like I'm not doing that. So
Before-
standing up pretty much is equivalent to bowing. He took a knee like I'm not doing that. As in I'm not doing that at all. Go ahead.
Bold.
And,
Right? It was bold. Go ahead.
and whoso falleth not down and worshipeth shall the same hour be cast into the midst of a burning fiery furnace.
Go ahead.
Therefore, at that time, when all the people heard the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery,
Psaltery.
and all
Oh,
kinds
Lord.
of music, all the people, the nations, and the languages fell down and worshiped the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up.
Go ahead.
Wherefore, at that time, certain Chaldeans came near and accused the Jews. They spake and said to the king Nebuchadnezzar, O king, live forever. Thou, O king, hast made a decree that every man that shall hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, y'all gotta say it, psaltery, and dulcimer,
like you're
and
Haitian.
all kings of music.
You're born in America.
I keep saying psaltery.
There's no M in there, bro.
Yo, he acting like he's from Haiti.
Yeah, right.
You don't gotta ask it.
Giving you mercy over there, man.
Yeah,
I ain't hear a song yet. It's coming.
Welcome,
Yeah, they
Cap.
bitch.
Yo,
Man, I was about to say
Like,
they
you're
showing
not from
mercy.
Mexico.
Oh, man.
Damn, they got a
These people
song.
they got accent. You was born in America, raised in America.
Damn.
I got a different
still
accent.
having trouble, Cap.
Go ahead. Where we
Still
at?
having trouble.
And dulcimer, and all kinds of music shall fall down and worship the golden image. And whoso falleth not down and worshipeth, that he should be cast into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. There are certain Jews whom thou hast set over the affairs of the province of Babylon, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. These men, O king, have not regarded thee.
So no, Daniel and the 3 brothers are set over these guys. So they mad. We're going to get back at Daniel and them. They got promoted over us. This is our chance to get them killed. Because their God doesn't allow them to bow down to our gods. This is our chance to get our jobs back and get these 4 guys fired. Go ahead.
They serve not thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. Then Nebuchadnezzar, in his rage and fury, commanded to bring Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Then they brought these men before the king. Nebuchadnezzar spake and said unto them, Is it true, O Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego?
Hey, that sounds like a nigga that ratted me out.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, pretty much.
Sound like them.
Damn.
Yes, these niggas got that part in Lake of Fire.
Oh, man. Go ahead.
Do not ye serve my gods, nor worship the golden image which I have set up? Now, if ye be ready, that at what time ye hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and dulcimer, and all kinds of music, ye fall down and worship the image which I have made. Well, but if ye worship not, ye shall be cast the same hour into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. And who is that God that shall deliver you out of my hands?
Go ahead.
Shadrach.
So he asked them, listen, is it true you guys do not worship my gods and give honor to the image I set up? Go ahead.
Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered and said to the king, O Nebuchadnezzar, we are not careful to answer thee in this matter.
We're not afraid to answer your question in this situation. Go ahead.
If it be so, our God whom we serve is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace, and he will deliver us out of thine hand, O king.
He's bold. Listen, our God will deliver us out of your hand if he wants to. Go ahead.
But if not, be it known unto thee, O king, that we will not serve thy gods.
But if he doesn't, we're not serving your gods. This is them taking a knee. This is them doing the Kaepernick. We're taking a knee. We're not doing that. We're not going to bow down to that golden thing you set up. It's against our law. Go ahead.
Nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up.
The answer, they told their boss, no.
That's right.
You ever tell Edomite no? You ever said they respond? They despise that. Well, you listen.
Crazy.
They hate it.
Yep.
Brothers is nodding. You know what I'm talking about. You
Crazy,
tell
bro.
Esau no, they
gosh.
get very uncomfortable. They go, because Esau puts on a persona of being kind, so they smile when they're angry. They smile. They're just like that. When they're angry, they smile or they'll smirk. Like, oh, but why? Why is that?
Yep.
Well, why won't you do that? And they maintain a certain demeanor because remember they're God in this world. They're Jesus. So if they come out of character, it's unbecoming. So they gotta keep that persona of we're pleasant, hey, why won't you worship other gods?
Professional, be
Well,
brute.
or you won't celebrate Christmas? Well, why not? Or you won't celebrate Halloween?
Because I said no.
Come to a Halloween party? Well, why not?
Like Caesar, no.
Right, exactly, right. Exactly. Why don't you celebrate Halloween and Thanksgiving?
No.
Exactly.
And Dick, they'll come to you. What is your religion?
Right.
What is it?
What is
None
it?
of your business,
That's
son.
the same thing that do to
Yeah,
me.
that's what they do.
Yep.
They pry. They
What
want
is your
to. They
religion?
pry. They pry. Don't you try to flip it on them? They look at you sideways. Are you questioning me? You don't question me. I question you. And they keep that same tone like that. They speak like that, gentle,
Their word is smoother.
very
than
smoother than
oil.
butter. Yeah.
Yep.
No, what do you mean?
And their
Why
heart-
not?
But turning red at the same
But
time.
they furious, and inside they want to punch you in your face. Oh, y'all funny. Y'all funny as hell. Heavy metal in their mind. Okay, where we at?
And Dickie, you can see his equivalent, like I said, during the time of Babylon with Daniel, it says, if you're not bowed down and worship this image that he made. So the same thing happened in the 1400s with the Northern Kingdom when he came over to the colonizers and they conquered us. The same thing, they said, if you not worship the image of the beast.
Right. Yep. Same
So
exact
the same thing, bow the knee and worship our
Or
gods.
get burnt, or be burnt at the stake.
Yep.
Instead, rather than
Atuapa,
fire
yep.
furnace, burn it. I know Papa said, where do you guys go when you die? And the white man said, oh, well, you go to heaven. He said, where you guys go? Oh, I go to heaven. He goes, what happens if I don't? You go to hell. Will you guys be there? No. Then I'll go to hell then. I'll take hell. I don't want to go to heaven with you. Because if heaven's where you guys dwell, that's hell too. I'll go to hell then, where you guys will not be. And they burn him at the stake.
And if you analyze it also with the Babylon, the image, same thing says in Revelation 14:9, the image of the beast.
Right.
You're gonna be, you're gonna burn in a lake of fire.
Right.
If you bow down and worship the image of the beast.
Right, same thing.
And that's the same thing in school. On a lower level, they have you worship the flag. I pledge allegiance
To the flag.
Right.
Right, and the sad thing is
Stand
that
up.
I know it by heart. I'm 30 in my 30s. I learned that when I was in junior high school, kindergarten.
Kindergarten, we
I pledge
started that.
allegiance to that flag in the United States of America and to the public for which it stands. Remember, it's
I
in
remember.
there. It's,
Yeah,
it's,
that's it.
it's in there.
It's
I
embedded
remember I
in
used to
the-
go to
it's
board
programmed.
meetings when they used to, I'm like, okay, in the middle of board meeting, they say, all right, we're gonna salute the flag. I look at them like this, all right. I'll be the only one sitting out there. Look, what's this nigga doing? That's all right, cool. I gotta go to the bathroom. Every time we
Every
do the
day,
pledge,
every day.
I remember one time they tried to get me. I had a concert to do. I had to conduct a concert. So I was gonna do the pledge. I said, all right, I gotta go to the bathroom before the concert. For some reason, I had to always go to the bathroom.
Disappeared during the time.
Yeah,
Yep.
disappeared.
Gotta
One
do
time
what
they
you
caught me. I said, all right, the gig is up. I ain't standing for that damn flag.
Get one in the corner.
Yeah, the gig is up. I said, I ain't standing for that damn flag. It is
Yep.
what it is. It's against my religious belief.
Right.
I just had to, after
After a
a
while,
while,
you
like
can't-
this.
you can't keep
Yeah, I said,
lying.
you know what? They said, Mr. Israel, for some reason,
Right.
you come off like
They're watching
Remember
you.
I told you that?
Every time
Yeah.
it's time to do a pledge of allegiance, you guys use the bathroom.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a weak bladder.
That's showing you they're watching you.
Yeah.
They watch
Yeah, they watching
everything.
see what
Whenever
you do.
you come in the room, they're watching everything you do.
Yeah.
And they came to the conclusion. They said, Mr. Israel, for some reason we're coming to conclusion that you
Don't
are
like us.
kind of like an actor. Like you're a good actor.
Oh,
You're very
man.
good at
Oh,
playing.
man.
You say you're very good at what you're doing. I said, what are you talking about? I was acting there. I said, I'm confused.
What do you mean?
Do I win an Oscar?
Oh, King, live forever. Oh, King, live forever, King.
What does that mean? Is that noble Festus?
What does that mean by these words? Whatever does that mean? Where we at?
We're good actor.
Verse
Get
19.
raised.
Then was Nebuchadnezzar full of fury, and the form of his visage was changed against Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego.
He turned on them now. Remember, he was cool with them. Oh, your God is great. He bowed to them. Now it's different. Go ahead.
Therefore he spake and commanded that they should heat the furnace 17 times more than that it was wont to be
Hey, hold on,
heated.
Dick, man,
He said-
if I may, like you said, right? Like all of a sudden now he forgot what Daniel.
Yeah.
Just like the scripture says, never trust thine enemy.
Yep.
Yep.
For as iron is rusted, so
It's his
so
wickedness.
right. All of a sudden now everything just the iron is rusted
Yeah.
now.
I made this image. You ain't bound to it that
Right.
I made.
Right.
I'm me.
Right.
He wants to worship this image. But for that, it says this one time he heated the furnace 7 times hotter than it ever was. This one time.
Never trust thine
And
enemy.
that's crazy, Deacon. And Daniel, to the point that Officer Laquat was making, Daniel 2 verse 47 says, the king answered unto Daniel and said, of a truth it is that your God is of God of gods
Right.
and a Lord of kings and a revealer of secrets, seeing thou couldst reveal this secret. So to Officer Laquat's point, Daniel or King Nebuchadnezzar already knew
Acknowledged
that
his
that
God.
his God was the God of gods
Right.
over his God, but still that pride that you're not bound before me.
Right.
And everybody seeing that because that was between Daniel and Nebuchadnezzar
Right.
and
And
his
that's-
his witches
Right.
and
right.
enchanters.
Right. So now, because of his friend and pride, now he has
It was
to,
done before everybody.
just like
Pretty much Daniel sunned him.
just like Herod when he had to cut Daniel's, John the Baptist head.
Yeah.
He didn't want to do it,
He
but
didn't want to do it, but because of the friends,
yeah.
Yep, he
His
had to.
pride.
Go ahead. Where we at?
Verse 20. And he commanded the most mighty men that were in his army to bind Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego,
Lock them up. Go ahead.
and to cast them into the burning fiery furnace.
And, handcuff them and throw them in the furnace. Go ahead.
Then these men were bound in their coats,
So they said they were fully dressed. He said they can take them as they are, throw them in the furnace. They had their coats on,
their hosen,
their pants on. They had their pants on. Go ahead, breeches. Go ahead.
and their hats.
They had their hats on. You know, the hats on tilted to the side. The hat.
Yep.
I was like, this is what it is, yo. We out. That's Judah. We
you know
out.
what I mean?
I mean, he's gonna be in the fire. That's what it is.
Know what I'm saying?
I'll be
Know what I'm
back.
saying?
I'm gonna be back. You know what I mean? Know what I'm saying?
You burn this flesh, but I'll be back.
Yo, Shad, let's go, man. Let's go, Shad. Let's go, man. Let's go, man.
Let's dip, baby. Let's dip.
What the hell
Right,
is
right,
We out. We out.
The hell is that? We want to join Christ anyway.
Yeah, we out. So go
Tired of
ahead.
damn life.
Go ahead.
and their hats, and their other garments, and were cast into the midst of the burning fiery furnace.
Got thrown in the furnace. Go ahead.
Therefore, because the king's
So they got thrown into a giant oven, basically. Thrown into a giant oven. Go ahead.
Therefore, because the king's commandment was urgent and the furnace exceeding hot.
So he was so mad. He said, throw them in the fire. Remember, it was heated 7 times more than it ever was. So and it was an immediate judgment. Go ahead.
The flame of the fire slew those men that took up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego.
So the fire killed the men that brought them to the furnace. They died just from bringing these men to the furnace. Go ahead.
And these 3 men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, fell down bound into the midst of the burning fiery furnace.
Go ahead. So they pushed. So obviously they pushed them in. Somebody says, I guess it's a hole, whatever, and they pushed them in, and they died. And they died in the midst of pushing those 3 in. They died too. Go ahead, in the fire. Go ahead.
Then Nebuchadnezzar the king was astounded and rose up in haste and spake and said unto
Wait. Do you do 23 again?
Verse 23. And these 3 men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, fell down bound into the midst of the burning fiery furnace.
So the men pushed them into the fire, into the furnace. So it was obviously some kind of hole. So obviously you could look down and see them burnt and see the furnace from the top, I guess, overhead. So they got pushed in. They fell in like a pit. And the men that pushed them in, they died themselves. Right? Now, stop there. Go to the Holy Children. We're going to read verse 1 to 25.
Damn. Somebody asked Officer Abaddon went to Chester High School.
Oh, snap.
Oh, man.
That's the high school you went to.
Yo, I ain't answering that question.
Oh, man.
Cat, why you read that?
Oh my God.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
Had a low reading literacy rate or something.
School was a 1.
Oh, man. The score was a 1? Damn.
I've seen that before.
Yo.
Yeah.
So, sure, I'm never living there.
Yeah. School
Homeschool.
scores. Yeah. Homeschool for life.
You said Bell and the Dragon,
Come on, like
Verse 1.
verse 1.
Not Bell and the Dragon, the Holy Children.
Sorry, 3 and 2.
Damn, huh? Oh, come on, officer.
Officer
I got
Abaddon
distracted, man.
Take your
The
time,
test
bro. You're
dummy
going
what
too
not
fast.
to
That's
do.
what happened.
What not to say, your kids.
Hey, this ain't us, man. This cat back, man.
Wait,
Welcome
I sound
back,
like
Cap.
I sound like get on Levi today, so I gotta
Somebody
get on
got to get it. Somebody got to get it.
All praise to the Most
You
High.
know, Levi had enough. You know,
Oh, all praises. Mercy.
That's a lie. Don't fall for that.
He started earlier. He started.
Set up, bro.
You heard, right? He started earlier. He said, yo, man, wow, you're not from Haiti. Why you sound like you're from Haiti?
Oh, yeah.
no, because you got accents. I said Haiti as well as Mexico. I added that in, so
After
you wouldn't be
we had in
offended.
Mexico, yeah, we're like, yeah. Sorry, God, we love you, man. You know we still love you, man.
Read
You
verse
guys will
1.
get a
You ready?
break. Go
Yes,
ahead.
sir. 3 holy children, verse 1. And they walked into the midst of the fire, praising God and
No, read from
blessing.
the top. The song of the Holy Children. The song of the Holy Children. Which what?
Yes, sir. Which followeth in the 3rd chapter of Daniel, after this place, fell down bound into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. Verse 23.
So this takes place after the verse 23. Go ahead.
That which followeth is not in the Hebrew, to wit, and they walked unto these words. Then Nebuchadnezzar, verse
So
24.
between 23 and 24, this took place. Watch this. Read on.
Verse 1.
So after verse 23, it talks about this.
And they walked in the midst of the fire, praising God and blessing the Lord. Then Azariah stood up and prayed on this manner, and opening his mouth in the midst of the fire, said, Blessed art thou, O Lord God of our fathers. Thy name is worthy to be praised and glorified forevermore.
Azariah is Azariah. Go ahead.
For thou art righteous in all the things that thou hast done to us. Yea, true are all thy works. Thy works are right, and all thy judgments truth. And all the things that thou hast brought upon us, and upon the holy city of our fathers, even Jerusalem, thou hast executed true judgment. For according to truth and judgment didst thou bring all these things upon us, because of our sins.
Go ahead.
For we have sinned and committed iniquity, departing from thee. In all things have we trespassed, and not obeyed thy commandments, nor kept them, neither done as thou hast commanded us, that it might go well with us. Wherefore, all that thou hast brought upon us, and everything that thou hast done unto us, thou hast done it in truth and true judgment. And thou didst deliver us in the hands of lawless enemies.
Babylonians. And up until now, still the same thing with the enemy now. Lawless enemies. Go ahead.
Most hateful forsakers of God. And to the unjust king.
And to an unjust king, Nebuchadnezzar. Go ahead.
And the most wicked in all the world.
Damn, that's right now too. And the most wicked in all the world. Go ahead.
And now we cannot open our mouths. We are become a shame and reproach to thy servants, and to them that worship thee. Yet deliver us not up wholly for thy name's sake, neither disannul thou thy covenant, and cause not thy mercy to depart from us, for thy beloved Abraham's sake, for thy servant Isaac's sake, and for thy holy Israel's sake, to whom thou hast spoken and promised, that thou wouldest multiply their seed as the stars of heaven, and as the sand that lieth upon the seashore. For we, O Lord, are become less than any nation, and be kept under this day in all the world because of our sins.
We're in captivity all over the world, the known world this time. Go ahead.
Neither is there at this time prince or prophet or leader or burning offering
Or burnt offering.
or burnt offering or sacrifice or oblation and or incense or place to sacrifice before thee and to find mercy.
But the temple was destroyed. Go ahead.
Nevertheless, in the contrite heart and in the humble spirit, let us be accepted.
We can't offer sacrifice anymore, so the only thing we can offer now is a contrite heart and a good spirit. Go ahead. And a humble spirit. Go ahead.
Like as in the burnt offerings of rams and bullocks, and like as in 10,000s of fat lambs, so let our sacrifice be in thy sight this day, and grant that we may wholly go after thee. For they shall not be confounded that put their trust in thee.
Go ahead.
And now we follow thee with all our heart. We fear thee and seek thy face. Put us not to shame, but deal with us after thy loving kindness, and according to thy multitude of thy mercies.
Go ahead.
Deliver us also according to the marvelous works, and give glory to thy name, O Lord. And let all them that do thy servants hurt be ashamed, and let them be confounded in all their power and might, and let their strength be broken. And let them know that thou art Lord, the only God, and glorious over the whole world. And the king's servants that put them in cease not to make the oven hot with rosin, pitch, tar, and small wood.
So when they were in the furnace, they heated up more. As they're in the furnace, they heated up more. Go ahead.
Sorry. Can you read with more bass, please?
Dig, that should sound like a
I think Cap going to read.
Nah, he's reading like with a high pitched voice, like he's a soprano or something. Like, hey, put some bass in your voice. You know what I'm saying? Save your chest.
Go up a couple of octaves.
Yeah.
Dig, can actually, this doesn't
Read
sound
like
like
he
a
sings.
like a capital punishment.
Yeah.
In Babylon that time.
Yeah.
They'll just throw you in the fire like the Romans will hang us on the cross, right?
Yeah, like that. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
All praise, Cap.
You're going to be all right.
Breathe, man. Breathe.
Yeah, put some bass in your voice.
Yeah, come on.
Gotcha. Verse 24. So that the flame streamed forth above the furnace 49 cubits.
So the flame streamed above the furnace. The flame was the fire got higher. Go ahead.
But the angel of the Lord came down into the oven together with Azarias.
Hold on, where we at? Verse 25? Stop,
20,
stop.
26.
Stop there.
I guess so.
Get Daniel 3:24. We'll go back to this. Daniel 3:24. Daniel 3:24 now.
Daniel chapter 3 and verse 24. Then Nebuchadnezzar the king was astounded, and rose up in haste, and spake, and said unto his counselors, Did not we cast the 3 men bound into the midst of the fire?
Did we cast 3 men into the fire? Go ahead.
They answered and said unto the king, True, O king.
Yeah, we did. Go ahead.
He answered and said, Lo, I see 4 men loose,
I see 4 men walking around in there because he's watching. Go ahead.
walking in the midst of the fire, and they have no hurt.
And they're still alive because he's looking. He's watching. He's looking over them. He's looking at the fire. He sees the fire. He's like, "Wasn't there 3 of them in there? Why is there 4 in there? And why aren't they dead?" Go ahead.
And the form of the 4th is like the Son of God.
And there's like an angel's in there. There's an angel in there. Go ahead.
Then Nebuchadnezzar came near
Wait. Verse 25.
Yes, sir.
Go back to all the children again. Go back to all the children.
Holy children, verse 25.
Yeah.
And it passed through and burnt those Chaldeans it found about the furnace.
So the guards that were standing about the furnace, they all got put to death because he wanted the command to be hotter. They still wouldn't burn. So all the men that were surrounding the furnace, they got put to death. Go ahead.
But the angel of the Lord came
Now
down
watch this.
into the oven together with Azarias and his fellows.
So it came down, as I said before, you can obviously see overhead what's going on inside, like a pit. It says the angel came down into the furnace with them. Go ahead, watch this.
And smote the flame of fire out of the oven.
And smoked the flame of fire out the oven.
Damn.
In the middle of it. Not all of it, but the fire in the middle that the three were in, he smote it out. So it's the fire is surrounding them, but in the middle, there's no fire at all. Watch, read on.
And made the midst of the furnace as it had been a moist whistling wind.
He made it a cool, like an AC. So in the midst of fire is a cool whistling wind, like a force field surrounding the three. So it's the angel, the three brothers, in a force field of whistling wind and fire surrounding them. So the angel separated the fire from the four of them.
Psalms 93.
And Nebuchadnezzar and them was like, yo, what's going on in there? Go ahead.
So that the fire touched them not at all, neither hurt nor troubled them.
Fire didn't come near them.
Sound like Psalms 93.
Yeah, read on. Exactly.
Fire shall not touch.
Psalm 91.
91 also, yes, sir.
Read on.
Verse 28. Then the three, as out of one mouth, praised, glorified, and blessed God in the furnace, saying,
We're going to stop at verse 68.
Blessed art thou, O Lord, God of our fathers, and to be praised and exalted above all forever. And blessed is thy glorious and holy name, and to be praised and exalted above all forever. Blessed art thou in the temple of thine holy glory, and to be praised and glorified above all forever. Blessed art thou that beholdeth the depths, and sitteth upon the cherubims, and to be praised and exalted above all forever. Blessed art thou on the glorious throne of thy kingdom, and to be praised and glorified above all forever.
Jump down to verse 37.
Verse 37. O ye angels of the Lord, bless ye the Lord. Praise and exalt his name above all forever.
38.
O all ye waters that be above the heavens.
Space. Water and space.
Bless ye the Lord. Praise and exalt him above all
But
forever.
there's spirits in that water and space. Now keep things separate. Go ahead.
O all ye powers of the Lord, bless ye the Lord. Praise and exalt him above all forever.
40.
O ye sun and moon, bless ye the Lord. Praise and exalt him above all forever.
Those are spirits too. Go ahead.
O ye stars of heaven, bless ye the Lord. Praise and exalt him above all forever.
Spirits in that too.
O every shower and dew, bless ye the Lord. Praise and exalt him above all forever. O all ye winds, bless ye the Lord. Praise and exalt him above all forever. O ye fire and heat, bless ye the Lord. Praise and exalt him above all forever.
Go ahead.
O ye winter and summer, bless ye the Lord. Praise and exalt him above all forever. O ye dews and storms of snow, bless ye the Lord. Praise and exalt him above all forever. O ye nights and days, bless ye the Lord. Praise and exalt him above all forever.
Jump down to verse 66.
And that shows you that's not Mother Nature.
Right.
That's the
spirit.
Lord controlling the spirits.
That's right.
66.
Verse 66.
Devils, man.
O Ananias, Azarias, and Misael,
Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego. Go ahead.
bless ye the Lord. Praise and exalt him above all forever. For he hath delivered us from hell.
From what?
From hell.
From hell meaning the grave, from being killed. Go ahead.
And saved us from the hand of death.
Which is hell. Go ahead.
And delivered us out of the midst of the furnace and burning flame. Even out of the midst of the fire hath he delivered us.
He'll do it again in this realm. Go ahead.
O give thanks unto the Lord, because he is gracious, for his mercy endureth forever. O all ye that worship the Lord, bless the God of gods. Praise him and give him thanks, for his mercy endureth forever.
Go to Daniel 3:25.
Gods of gods.
God of gods.
That's right.
God is us, and he's the God of the gods.
That's
All
right.
praises. Daniel chapter 3 and verse 25. He answered and said, Lo, I see 4 men loose, walking in the midst of the fire, and they have no hurt, and the form of the 4th is like the Son of God.
It's the angel of God. Go ahead.
Then Nebuchadnezzar came near to the
So,
mouth.
Deacon, that's Son of God's Christ.
Yeah, it is.
Now, check this out.
And
You got to ask
it's revealed that because Daniel is a capital S and capital G, so it's emphasis on the Son of God. It's a particular angel.
And then you got to ask yourself a question. How is it that Nebuchadnezzar was able to identify Christ as the Son of God? Because when you read Daniel chapter 2, when it says in a stone that breaketh, what is that? Daniel chapter 2, verse...
Oh, in a dream?
Yep.
Stone that with defeat.
Yeah, let me get it. 2 verse, the end of... 2 verse 44, the end of it. It says, and the kingdom shall not be left to other people, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever. Verse 45. For as much as thou sawest that the stone was cut out of the mountain without hands, and that it brake in pieces the iron, the brass, the clay, the silver, and the gold. So we now know that the stone that breaketh the brass, the iron, the clay, and all these kingdoms was talking about Christ. That's in Ephesians chapter 2, verse 20. So Nebuchadnezzar saw in a dream, he saw Christ in his dream. He saw Christ conquering Babylon, Persia, Greece, Rome, and the last kingdom, America, and the European
Conquer that
Union.
image. You saw him smite the feet of that image.
Yep. And then that's why in Daniel chapter 3, he said, wait a minute. This is the same guy I saw in my dream. This is the Son of Man.
The Son of Man, right?
This is Christ.
Right.
This is the same man that Daniel interpreted and revealed to me.
Right.
That's the black man with the woolly hair.
Right.
With the thick lips.
Right. Bring it out,
With
Cap.
the thick nose.
Bring it out, Cap.
With the bronze feet.
Bring
As
it out,
feet as
Cap.
the
Bring it
burn
out,
in a
Cap.
furnace.
Bring it out,
Dark
Cap.
like
Bring it
night.
out, Cap.
Oh,
Dark
Bring it
night.
out, Cap. That's
The
right.
black Messiah.
That's
The
right.
nation of Israel.
Right.
That's right.
That's right. Bring it out,
The
Cap.
12 tribes of the nation of Israel.
That's right.
Bring it up.
All right.
All praise.
And then when he saw that, he had a nightmare.
He said, woo! Look at that black man in the midst of the fire. Even the spirits, the elements obey him. The tree obey him. The sun, the moon, the stars obey him. The
Bring
wind
it out.
obey him.
Bring it out, Cap.
Get out.
Speak your truth, Cap.
Y'all crazy, man. Where we at?
Daniel chapter 3, verse 26.
Yeah.
Then Nebuchadnezzar came near to the mouth of the burning fiery furnace, and spake and said, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, ye servants of the Most High God, come forth and come hither. Then Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego came forth of the midst of the fire. And the princes, governors, and captains, and the king's counselors, being gathered together, saw these men, upon whose body the fire had no power, nor was a hair of their head singed.
Nor was an hair on their head singed. I mean, their hair wasn't burnt, nothing. There was, go ahead.
Neither were their coats
Their
changed,
clothes weren't burned, nothing. Go ahead.
nor the smell of fire had passed
There
on
was
them.
no smoke or smell of smoke on their bodies. Nothing. Nothing came, the fire didn't come near them at all.
Wow.
And then he wait, shape, or form. Go ahead.
Verse 28. Then Nebuchadnezzar spake and said, Blessed be the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who have sent his angel and delivered his servants that trusted in him, and have changed the king's word, and yielded their bodies that they might not serve nor worship any god except their own God.
This goes to show that, this goes to prove that the nations know about angels. They know about God, about the angels in the heavens. They have awareness. They were aware of this. Esau's aware of it too. But Esau is such a prideful asshole, he'll call them aliens.
Yeah, you lie about it.
Right.
Oh, they're aliens. Oh, and even what's the name? Your boy, Sleepy Joe. In his senility, he was rambling too. He said, yeah, the moon, and there's things in the moon, and they walk among us. What? You okay? What? Chicken? Ah! But he was throwing out. I said, oh, this guy shouldn't be saying these things.
I didn't hear that one.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you got the video?
But yeah, it's with Don. Go to with Lemon. I showed it to y'all.
Yeah,
Oh, that was the one with the vaccine.
Right.
Right, but he's just go
Oh,
to. I showed
the
you. Go to
medication or the mosquito bite.
Yeah, he said.
Yeah, the mosquito bite. Yeah.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
the vaccine.
You said you took the
Hey, mosquito bite.
are wondering
are you
about
okay?
People are wondering about the aliens. About the aliens, they walk among us.
And Dick, remember that show? You always talk about the
I sent to y'all a long time ago, man. Y'all going on YouTube. Let's go to Group Me and look for the YouTube. I sent y'all with
We can see that
Biden.
the
later.
CNN interview with Don Lemon,
I sent to y'all like way back.
Joe Biden and Don Lemon, something like that.
Do you want to take a break soon? All right.
No, because we ain't got much
keep going.
time.
A
Yeah.
break? A break for what? What do you do today?
I know what Judge wants to break for. He wants to go and
And Dick, just to add to what you just said about the
cast
other
out the
nations,
demons. Yeah, exactly. You'll be all right. You'll be all right, Judge.
Messed
Just,
Yeah, that's messed up.
Yes, that's
They
what
revealed the card.
eat some twigs like you used to do back in the wilderness.
Then they showed you on the camera. That makes it even worse. You guys are no good.
That's it.
Wow.
These cats are no good.
Yeah, it's an interview on CNN with John. That might be it right there.
Why we
It's
waiting?
a Don Lemon.
Nah,
That's not it. It's a
That's
Don
not it.
Lemon.
That's not it. That's not it.
It's mad short. It's a Don Lemon.
Interview
And he's
with Joe
it
Biden.
says Biden rambling.
While you're waiting for the clip, it just shows you that the faith that our forefathers had, like Paul says, in our weakness are we strengthened? Are we made strong? So anytime our fathers, like I said, they was in a predicament where they couldn't control, they always relied on the Lord. And the Most High, like Deacon Malachi's class yesterday, the Most High was going to put us in certain positions or conditions that we're going to have no choice but to rely on the Lord so that the Lord may reveal his power through us. Right. It's through our faith and through our predicaments and through the things that we go through is that when the Most High reveals his glory, his strength, and his power. So everything's about faith. Daniel, that to me, that's the most faith anybody can show. He said, yo, listen, whether I get burned or not, I get burned. If I die or I don't die, it's of the Lord.
Not Daniel, the three brothers. Yeah.
The three brothers, sorry.
And that's why in that prayer, he says, right now I can't offer you no bulls, no anything.
Right.
And that's why
Right.
Romans come out and say, present yourself a living sacrifice. So they present themselves to the Most High as a living sacrifice.
Right.
They say, yo, Father, where we at? We can't offer you no bulls, no goats, no nothing. The only thing we can offer is ourselves.
Right.
As a sacrifice.
Press play.
I mean, everybody thought I was a little...
Now he's rambling. Nonsense. Is this it? I hope this is the one. With him and Don Lemon. All right, press play. I hope this is it. Hope you guys
I mean, everybody thought I was a little nuts. Is in fact, it's going to be.
Bro, that's not,
You guys are having a bottom moment yourselves.
yeah, it's with him and Don.
It's like a short minute clip.
Yeah, they're both standing next
Yeah,
to each
it's
other.
a town hall with Don Lemon.
Yeah, I'm about to send it.
Thank you, Jess.
got it,
Thank
Jess?
you. Jeez.
Yes, sir. Rest assured.
Go back up.
No, let Jess send it, please. It's just going to be like an all-day thing.
Go to the group
That's
meet.
right
I'm
there.
about to
Right,
put
it's
it.
right there. They show up.
Right there.
It's in that
That's
video.
him. It's in that clip.
It's all right. 'Cause it's a Jess.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
No, can
You
you just,
send it, Jess?
no, all you have to do is click it. Go to
Yes,
the
sir.
YouTube. Go to the YouTube. Yeah, that's right there.
Just move it
I mean,
up,
everybody
okay?
thought.
Just move it up.
Let's go to the clip where it shows him.
If you don't have it, go to the Philly online. I'll just put it on there.
No, Dad, don't. That's too many instructions at the same time.
Keep
One
going.
at a
No,
time.
the other way. Keep
He can't
going.
process it
there,
all at
put
once.
right-
It's Philly.
Let's see what happens.
Be, or excuse me, what could they do? Portman is a congressman from this area. Xi Jinping in China. She's a
Get out of
bright-
this. Get out of this. Go to get the one Jess sent you. Jesus Christ.
Xi Jinping in China.
Xi Jinping.
Xi Jinping.
Graduates of
You-
Chester High School.
Jeez.
Nothing
Yeah,
against
that's
you, offside down.
That's it.
I ain't go to that
That's
school,
a man
Cap.
on the moon.
You did it?
No.
Never discuss.
Were you lying to me?
You got the vaccination?
There you go. Right there.
Are you okay? I mean,
Pause. Are you okay? Because he shouldn't be okay. That's why they passed a law saying that people of Congress don't gotta take it. That's why he didn't take it. That's why he asked if he's okay, because he ain't gotta take it.
Don Lemon's dumb black ass.
Yeah,
took
Don
it.
Lemon took it.
That's
Yeah, I got it. I got it.
That's a
He was
big-
like,
big-ass coon, man.
yeah, I took it. Rewind it back. You got press play?
you got the vaccination? Yeah. Are you okay? I mean, you seem no, it works. Or
Listen.
you know, or the mom and dad, or the neighbor, or when you go to church, or when you're.
What is he
no,
talking about?
I really mean it. There are trusted interlocutors. Think of the people.
Listen.
If your kid wanted to find out
Listen.
whether or not there's a man on the moon,
Man on the
or
moon.
whatever, something, or whether those aliens are here or
Those
not.
aliens, they're here or not?
Who are the people they talk to beyond the kids who love talking about it?
Then he starts rambling again. That's it.
Yo, what the heck? Yo, what was that? Yo,
He's
What
rambling
sense?
things. Some things he's saying he shouldn't be saying, but it's a mix of confusion.
Right.
What
But
sense
but
did
they
that make?
know. It didn't make any sense. But they know what's up there. That was my point. Esau knows that there's beings beyond us,
the aliens on the
around.
moon.
He's in the moon. They walk among us. He knows.
And two things he reveals about one about
The mosquito bite,
mosquito bite,
and then the moon
and
thing.
and the moon
He
thing.
said, pretty much you should be dead.
Right. So
Are
when-
you all right?
Your mother, your
and Dick,
grandmother,
when-
your children, your kids. What?
Yeah, when they realize the question he asked him, he should not ask him. Like, what do you mean? He's all right.
Yeah.
You're supposed to take it. So he changed it quickly,
Yep,
and then now bring it to all kinds of stuff. Oh, damn, what am I going to? Oh, the man on the moon.
Like, where did that come from? That was a bad random.
It's too much on his mind.
That's the most side.
Senility.
Yeah.
Where we at?
Daniel chapter 3, verse 29.
Go ahead, we know.
Therefore, I make a decree that every people, nation, and language which speak anything amiss against the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego shall be cut in pieces, and their house shall be made a dunghill.
Because what started this whole thing of them being burned in the furnace was the wise men that were jealous to them. So he said, from now on, if anyone speaks against your God, I'll have them killed. Go ahead.
Because there is no other God that can deliver at this sort.
Go ahead, watch this.
Then the king promoted Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the province of Babylon.
They got another raise. They got promoted again. So they got promoted again. All right. So now give me Daniel 4, chapter 4, verse 1.
Daniel chapter 4 and verse 1. Nebuchadnezzar the king unto all people, nations, and languages that dwelt in all the earth, peace be multiplied unto you. I thought it good to show the signs and wonders that the Most High have wrought toward me. How great are his signs, and how mighty are his wonders. His kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and his dominion is from generation to generation. Nebuchadnezzar was at rest in mine house, and flourishing in my palace. I saw a dream which made me afraid, and the thoughts upon my bed, and the visions of my head troubled me. Therefore may I decree to bring in all the wise men of Babylon before me, that they might make known unto me the interpretation of the dream. Then came in the magicians, the astrologers, the Chaldeans, and the soothsayers. And I told the dream before them, but they did not make known unto me the interpretation thereof. But at the last Daniel came in before me, whose name was Belteshazzar, according to the name of my God, and in whom is the spirit of the holy gods. And before him I told the dream, saying, O Belshazzar, master of the magicians, because I know that the spirit of the holy gods is in thee, and no secret troubleth thee. Tell me the vision of my dream that I have seen, and the interpretation thereof. Thus were the visions of my head in my bed I saw, and beheld a tree in the midst of the earth, and the height thereof was great. The tree grew and was strong, and the height thereof reached unto heaven, and the sight thereof to the end of all the earth. The leaves thereof were fair, and the fruit thereof much, and in it was meat for all. The beasts of the field had shadow under it, and the fowls of the heaven dwelt in the boughs thereof, and all flesh was fed of it. I saw in the visions of my head upon my bed, and behold, a watcher and a holy one came down from heaven, and cried aloud, and said, Thus, hew down the tree, and cut off the branches, shake off his leaves.
Cut off his branches.
And cut off his branches, shake off his leaves, and scatter his fruit. Let the beasts get away from under it, and the fowls from his branches.
So he saw angels in his dreams saying, cut this tree down. Go ahead.
Nevertheless, leave the stump of his root in the earth, even with a band of iron and brass, and the tender grass of the field, and let it be wet with the dew of heaven, and let his portion be with the beasts and the grass of the earth. Let his heart be changed from man's, and let a beast's heart be given unto him, and let 7 times pass over him. This matter is by the decree of the watchers,
the angels. Go ahead.
and the demand by the word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and giveth it to whomsoever he will, and setteth up over it the basis of men.
So he acknowledged that he was the basis of men, of his nation. Go ahead, ruling. God set him up as a ruler. Go ahead.
This dream I, King Nebuchadnezzar, have seen. Now thou, O Belshazzar, declare the interpretation thereof. For as much as all the wise men of my kingdom are not able to make known unto me the interpretation, but thou art able, for the spirit of the holy gods is in thee. Then Daniel, whose name was Belshazzar, was astonished for 1 hour, and his thoughts troubled him. The king spake and said, Belshazzar, let not the dream or the interpretation thereof trouble thee. Belshazzar answered and said, My lord, the dream be to them that hate thee, and the interpretation thereof to thine enemies. The tree that thou sawest, which grew and was strong, whose height reached unto the heaven, and the sight thereof to all the earth, whose leaves were fair, and the fruit thereof much, and in it was meat for all, under which the beasts of the field dwelt, and upon whose branches the fowls of heaven had their habitation. It is thou, O king. Thou art grown and become strong.
It's you. That tree is you. Go ahead.
For thy greatness is grown, and reacheth unto heaven, and thy dominion to the end of the earth. And whereas the king saw a watcher and a holy one coming down from heaven, and saying, hew the tree down and destroy it, yet leave the stump of the roots thereof in the earth, even with a band of iron and brass, and the tender grass of the field, and let it be wet with the dew of heaven, and let his portion be with the beasts of the field, till 7 times pass over him. This is the interpretation, O king, and this is the decree of the Most High, which is come upon my lord the king, that they shall drive thee from men, and thy dwelling shall be with the beasts of the field, and they shall make thee to eat grass as oxen, and they shall wet thee with the dew of heaven.
So Nebuchadnezzar at one point in time would lose his mind and wander around like an animal. That's what he's saying. Go ahead.
And 7 times shall pass over thee, till thou know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men.
Until you humble. The Lord does to him. The Lord can make him lose his mind until he humbles himself. Go ahead.
And giveth it to whomsoever he will.
Go ahead.
And whereas thou commanded to leave the stump of the tree roots, thy kingdom shall be sure unto thee, after thou shalt have known that the heavens do rule.
Nebuchadnezzar, remember, this guy kept bucking up against the Lord. Remember the first time, I acknowledge your God. Then he goes and then he has these guys thrown in the furnace. He goes, you're humble. You think this kingdom is yours. This kingdom is mine. God is saying to him, I'm a humble you. I'm going to have your ass wander around like an animal for a little while. You'll be out of your mind, but your kingdom will still be yours. And you can come back to your kingdom. And you come back, you're going to acknowledge that I am the reason you rule. That's what it's saying. Esau today, that ain't him. He says, I ruled. I'm God. That's how he thinks. Esau's going to stay that way until he dies. Go ahead.
Wherefore, O king, let my counsel be acceptable unto thee, and break off thy sin.
That's why he's saying this interpretation is for your enemies. Your enemies are going to rejoice because for a while you're going to be out. That's what Daniel said. This is for your enemies. It's just interpretation. Go ahead.
And break off thy sins by righteousness, and thine iniquities by showing mercy to the poor, if it may be a lengthening of the tranquility.
Daniel said, listen, my advice to you is humble yourself down. Don't disrespect my God that put you in power. And I will bring tranquility to your kingdom. If you humble down and shut the hell up and be quiet. Go ahead.
All this came upon the king Nebuchadnezzar. At the end of 12 months, he walked in the palace of the kingdom of Babylon. The king spake and said, is not this great Babylon that I have built for the house of the kingdom by the might of my power and for the honor of my majesty?
There you go.
Still boasting.
While the word was in the king's mouth, there fell a voice from heaven, saying, O King Nebuchadnezzar, to thee it is spoken, the kingdom is departed from thee.
That's it. Your kingdom is it's time for you to go. It's time for your kingdom to go. Go ahead.
And they shall drive thee from men, and thy dwelling shall be with the beasts of the field. They shall make thee to eat grass as oxen, and 7 times shall pass over thee, until thou know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and giveth it to whomsoever he will.
So the Lord made Nebuchadnezzar, at that moment, lose his mind. Watch this.
The same hour was the thing fulfilled upon Nebuchadnezzar, and he was driven from men.
Because he lost his mind. So get him out of here. Go ahead.
And did eat grass as oxen, and his body was wet with the dew of heaven, till his hairs were grown like eagle's feathers.
He had long nails. He didn't cut his nails. Go ahead.
And his nails like bird's claws.
Go ahead. He was gone for a long time. Go ahead.
And at the end of the days, I, Nebuchadnezzar, lifted up mine eyes unto heaven, and mine understanding returned unto me.
He came back to normal again. He's bugged out. It's like a person being a king, and they start wilding the hell out.
Biden.
Crazy like Biden. He wandering around, nails all long, eating out of the garbage cans.
Falling asleep.
He's in the woods, eating ants.
Falling down the stairs.
Falling up the stairs.
Fall up the stairs. Then one day he was like, oh, man, you know what? I ain't shit. The Lord rules. The Lord set me up as a king. Be quiet. He humbled himself down. He realized he rules because God allowed him to rule. He had to be humbled down. Go ahead.
And I blessed the Most High, and I praised and honored him that liveth forever, whose dominion is an everlasting dominion, and his kingdom is from generation to generation.
Go ahead.
And all the inhabitants of the earth are reputed as nothing.
And other nations are nothing. Go ahead.
And he doeth according to his will in the army of heaven.
Damn, army of heaven. Go ahead.
And among the inhabitants of the earth, and none can stay his hand, or say unto him, what doest thou?
Go ahead.
At the same time, my reason returned unto me.
Once he realized that God rules and he doesn't, that he's no gun, but these kings that ruled thought they were gods. But he realized in this moment of humility, he said, you know one thing? The God of Daniel, he put me in power. Once he realized that, the Lord said, okay, good. He came. The Lord, this is called divine intervention. The Lord put Nebuchadnezzar in such a low state, he had to humble. Edom, that ain't going to happen. He has to be destroyed because he's built to be that way. That's how he is. Go ahead.
And at the same time, my reason returned unto me.
I noticed that all the dark nations have a certain sense of, you know what? Yeah, there's a God that rules over us. But Edom, nope. There's no God. Evolution, we're all monkeys. Earth is flat. Science, they have no fear of God nor acknowledgement of God. Even if they do acknowledge God, if there is a God, he's them. Or looks like them.
Right.
That's how far gone Esau is. But the darker nations have a certain sense of, like, you know one thing? There's a higher power than us. Even if they deify themselves, they go, you know one thing? I'm a God, but there's a God that rules above my head too. The Babylonians understood this. Egypt understood this. The Persians understood it. But Edom, nope. They're the worst.
And around that time of ruling, there was no such thing as global warming.
Mm-hmm.
Like the scripture says, it's going to destroy them, not destroy the earth.
Yeah.
That's heavy, D, because all the when you read about all the other captivity was under, they gave some acknowledgement of the Most High.
Yeah.
Like Cyrus gave some type of
Nebuchadnezzar,
Pharaoh.
Pharaoh.
What's the name? The king that Abraham dealt with, the king that,
Titus.
Oh, Titus, right. Well, that's Edom. But, you know what I'm talking about.
But, earlier Edom.
Yeah, earlier Edom. Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Abimelech. I think it was
Abimelech. Abimelech. Right, him too. Go ahead.
Sorry. Just lost my place. Verse 36. At the same time, my reason returned unto me, and for the glory of my kingdom, mine honor and brightness returned unto me, and my counselors and my lords sought unto me, and I was established in my kingdom, and excellent majesty was added unto me.
Go ahead.
Now I, Nebuchadnezzar, praise.
So what happened was he was excommunicated from his own kingdom and then allowed to return. Go ahead.
Now I, Nebuchadnezzar, praise and extol and honor the King of heaven, all whose works are truth and his ways judgment. And those that walk in pride, he is able to abase.
Those that walk in pride, he's able to bring down. Then shall I bring thee down, said the Lord, Obadiah. Malachi 1. He's going to bring them down. Daniel 5. We're going to read the verse, to the last verse.
Yes, sir.
We're going to finish it up.
Daniel chapter 5, verse 1.
We got time, right? Yeah, we're going to finish this chapter. We're going to finish this. Go ahead.
Belshazzar, the king, made a great feast to 1,000 of his lords.
Belshazzar is the Babylonian king's grandchild, his great-grandchild. Belshazzar. Go ahead.
And drank wine before the thousands. Belshazzar, while he tasted the wine, commanded to bring the golden and silver vessels which his father Nebuchadnezzar had taken out of the temple, which was in Jerusalem.
He commanded to have our stuff, our utensils and so forth, that was in our temple, to be brought out to him. Go ahead.
That the king and his princes, his wives, and his concubines might drink therein.
Drink out of God's bowls, cups, disrespect. Go ahead.
Mistake.
Then they brought the golden vessels that were taken out of the temple of the house of God, which was at Jerusalem. And the king and his princes, his wives, and his concubines drank in them.
They drink out of them. Go ahead.
They drank wine and praised the gods of gold and of silver, of brass, of iron, of wood, and of stone.
Mm-hmm.
In the same hour came forth fingers of a man's hand.
So a big black hand appears out of nowhere. Go ahead. Watch this.
And wrote over against the candlestick.
That's like Adam's family. That little hand with a big black one instead. In the sky, floating around. Go ahead.
And wrote over
What is it
against.
called? Thing? The hand? The thing?
Yes, sir. Yes,
thing.
sir.
Go ahead, read it again.
In the same hour came forth fingers of a man's hand, and wrote over against the candlestick upon the plaster of the wall of the king's palace.
So this big giant hand began to write on the wall. Go ahead.
And the king saw the part of the hand that wrote. Then the king's countenance was changed.
He was shook. Go ahead.
And his thoughts troubled him, so that the joints of his loins were loosed, and his knees smote one against another.
He was shaking. He was terrified. Go ahead.
The king cried aloud to bring in the astrologers.
Like, yo, what the hell is that? Big ass hand writing on the wall. Go ahead.
Then the king cried aloud to bring in the astrologers, the Chaldeans, and the soothsayers. And the king spake and said to the wise men of Babylon, whosoever shall read this writing and shew me the interpretation thereof shall be clothed with scarlet and have a chain of gold about his neck and shall be the third ruler in the kingdom.
Why? Why is it saying he shall be the third ruler? Why does it say he shall be the third ruler in the kingdom of Babylon? The third ruler. Third. Why third? I mean, isn't he the first? Belshazzar is the king, right? How is Daniel be a third ruler? Who's the second? Give me the Babylon pamphlet. You're going to go to page 9, then 12 and 13. You shall be the third ruler in the kingdom. What does that mean? Page 9 is page 9? All right, blow it up some. Bring it down.
That's good.
Bring it up. Read that real quick.
The Babylonian captivity, 605 BC to 539 BC.
The reason why I had 605 there is because 605 was the time in which Babylon put Israel under tribute, under Joachim. 605. But Babylon gained its rulership in 609 when they conquered the Battle of Megiddo. When King Josiah was killed, that marked the beginning of Babylon's reign and the fall of Assyria's reign. So it was 609 to 539.
Right.
609 to 539 gives you 70 years. This is right now, that's 66. If you add 609, that's 4 more years. That's 70 years approximately Babylon ruled for.
So it started at that particular battle.
Right, under Nabopolassar, his father, that battle. He died and his son took over where he left off and put Joachim or Israel under tribute in 605, all right? But it's really 609 where it started, giving us 70 years. Read on.
The Babylonians were Africans, Cushites, children of Ham. Read Genesis chapter 10, verses 6 to 10. Their first king was Nimrod. Read Genesis chapter 10, 8 to 12, and chapter 11, verses 1 to 9.
Nimrod historically is known as Sargon of Akkad. Sargon, the first king of Akkad or Arcadia. That's who that is. Esau will not give you his name because if Esau tells you that Sargon of Akkad is Nimrod, the Bible's a true book, and that's going to bring problems. So we'll just name him Sargon, meaning a king. That's Nimrod, who later on became Gilgamesh. Same guy. Go ahead.
Babylon means confusion because it was there that the Lord confounded the language of the people. Around 605 BC, oftentimes Babylon referred to as Mesopotamia. This is
land between the rivers, right? Go ahead.
This is a Greek word meaning between the rivers, or of the Chaldeans, and always referred to the region between the Tigris and the Euphrates River, an area which is today in Iraq.
Or Iraq. In Genesis 10, it's called Iraq. Iraq is Iraq. That's Nimrod's kingdom also. Go ahead.
Turkey and Assyria. Nineveh and Assyria had fallen, and the 10 tribes of the kingdom of Israel were now his captives. It was just Egypt and Babylon who were seeking world supremacy. The young, brilliant new king of Babylon, Nebuchadnezzar, went out and defeated the Egyptians at Carchemish.
That's 609 BC. Go ahead.
He marched on to Judah during Jehoiakim's reign and took thousands of Hebrews back to Babylon.
605 and 605 BC. Go ahead.
Including Daniel, who became one of the greatest prophets. Nebuchadnezzar made 2 more attacks when he heard of the rebellion in Judah. Each time he took captives, including Ezekiel the prophet.
Came after. Go ahead.
Only a remnant of the weakest, poorest, and least threatening Jews remained.
We're going to get to that in a minute. We'll find out who was the poorest later on. Go ahead.
King Nebuchadnezzar set up a puppet king, Zedekiah,
That's Joachim's brother. Go ahead.
of David's line to sit on the throne of Judah, and made him swear an oath of allegiance. Second Chronicles chapter 36, verses 10 to 12.
He went against it, got his eyes taken out, blah, 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 blah. Go to page 12.
You want that bottom part, Deke? All right, don't matter. Okay.
Read it already. Page 12. I just want the main narration. Page 12. Blow it up. Bring it up some. Please balance the page out. Make it even. Bring it up. Go up more. Up, 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 up. Move it over. Bring it in. Bring it in. There we go. Zoom in some more if you can.
He might have to go out deep.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. You can get it. You can read that.
Ancient Babylonia. List of kings and Neo-Babylonian rulers.
So right now we are in a Neo-Babylonian rule. So ancient Babylonia is Nimrod and them, and Neo-Babylonian is the new Babylon rulers. Go ahead.
List of kings. Hammurabi.
Hammurabi is, you heard of the term called Hammurabi Codes. A lot of niggas be involved in that. Oh, Hammurabi Codes. There's a bunch of Hamites that ruled. That's all they are.
1792 to 1750 BC.
Just read the names. Read the years.
Nabu-Nadinzer. Nabu-Shamashkan III. Nabu-Machenzar. Nabu-Machenzar. Pul, Tegala-Pileser III.
Babylonian. Because remember, Syria had rulership over Babylon. All right, so Pul, Tegala-Pileser III. Go ahead.
Yalula, Shalmaneser V.
That's his name. Shalmaneser V, who conquered Northern Kingdom. These two conquered Northern Kingdom. Go ahead.
Merodach-Baladan I.
Merodach-Baladan I was an independent Babylonian ruler that was cool with King Hezekiah. Hezekiah showed him all his treasures, and the Lord said, if you doing that, I'm going to make your children eunuchs in Babylon, which will consist of Daniel, Azariah, Hananiah, and Mishael. That's those four. Those two are the king's seed. Whether grandkids or whatever, those are the king's seed. Based upon the judgment against Hezekiah with Merodach-Baladan II. 9 months he ruled. Go ahead.
Sargon, Sennacherib, Merodach-Zakarsham.
You got Sargon, took Northern Kingdom over, conquered him. Sennacherib tried to conquer Judah and got conquered as well and killed by his sons. Marduk, Zakir, Shum, I forgot what that is. Go ahead.
Merodach-Baladan II.
Merodach-Baladan II, I believe he gave Jachin, or was that evil Merodach? Well, I believe he gave Jachin status. I could be wrong. I think that's him. Whatever. Go ahead.
Bel-Ibni. Ashur-Nadansham. Nagal-Sazib. Mishib Murdoch. Sennacherib.
Remember him? He attacked Judah and lost.
Sargon.
Sargon took over when two of his sons killed Sennacherib, and the Sargon took over.
Ashurbanipal.
Ashurbanipal is Asnapper, who placed the heathens in the Northern Kingdom's land. That Ezra, we're gonna do that later. In Ezra. Go ahead.
Shamash-Shechem.
Shamash-Shumakan. Okay, he came after that.
Kandalan.
Go ahead.
Right.
Yeah. Go down. Neo-Babylonian rulers.
Nabopolassar.
That's Nebuchadnezzar's father. 625 to 604, he died. Go up. That's Selassie, a Cushite king. Go up. Read that.
Nebuchadnezzar II.
Right. 604 to 568. Go ahead.
Evil Merodach.
Evil Merodach's the one that gave Jachin status in Babylon. That's him. Evil Merodach. That's in the Bible too. Go ahead.
Neriglissar,
brother-in-law of Evil Merodach, I believe. Go ahead.
Labosarkad.
Watch this.
Nabonidus.
Nabonidus. That's the king of Babylon. A king of Babylon. Nebuchadnezzar's great-grandson, Nabonidus. Watch this.
Belshazzar.
We just heard about him just now. That's Nabonidus' son. And who else?
Cyrus conquered Babylonia in 539 BC.
So the first of Babylon was Nabonidus. The second over Babylon is Belshazzar. So Belshazzar promised Daniel to be third in the kingdom because you had Nabonidus ruling at the time, and Belshazzar was second ruler or co-regent, and Daniel would be third ruler. So Nabonidus was the main ruler at the time of Daniel chapter 5. Then Belshazzar, and he offered the third rulership to Daniel or anyone who of course became Daniel. That's why it says third ruler in my kingdom, because his father is ruling the top king. Go back to Daniel now.
Daniel chapter 5, verse 7 again?
No, verse 8.
Verse 8.
If you got much time. Verse 8. Yep, go ahead.
Then came in all the king's wise men, but they could not read the writing. nor make known the king the interpretation thereof. Then was King Belshazzar greatly troubled, and his countenance was changed in him, and his lord was astounded. Now the queen, by reason of the words of the king and his lords, came into the banquet house. And the queen spake and said, O king, live forever. Let not thy thoughts trouble thee, nor let thy countenance be changed. There is a man in thy kingdom, and whom is the spirit of the holy gods.
So his woman came and told him, there's a God can help you. Go ahead.
And in the days of thy father light and understanding and wisdom, like the wisdom of the gods, was found in him, whom the king Nebuchadnezzar, thy father, the king, I say, thy father, made master of the magicians, astrologers, Chaldeans, and soothsayers.
He's the top guy among your counselors. Go ahead.
For as much as an excellent spirit and knowledge and understanding, interpreting of dreams, and showing of hard sentences, and dissolving of doubts, were found in the same Daniel, whom the king named Belshazzar. Now let Daniel be called, and he will shew thee the interpretation.
Because the hand wrote something. The big floating black hand, wrote something on the wall, and they couldn't understand it. So he said, Daniel can interpret what it says. Go ahead.
Then was Daniel brought in before the king, and the king spake and said unto Daniel, Art thou that Daniel, which art of the children of the captivity of Judah, whom the king my father brought out of Jewry? I have even heard of thee, that the spirit of the gods is in thee, and that light and understanding and excellent wisdom is found in thee. And now the wise men, the astrologers, have been brought in before me, that they should read this writing, and make known unto me the interpretation thereof. But they could not show the interpretation of the thing.
My astrologers can't translate this for me. Can you translate it? What this writing means? Go ahead.
And I have heard of thee, that thou canst make interpretations, and dissolve doubts. Now if thou canst read the writing, and make known to me the interpretation thereof, thou shalt be clothed with scarlet, and have a chain of gold about thy neck, and shalt be the third ruler in the kingdom.
Because you have Nabonidus, him, and it'll be Daniel. Go ahead.
Then Daniel answered and said before the king, Let thy gifts be to thyself.
I don't want your money. Yeah, you're good. You can hold that. Go ahead.
And give thy rewards to another. Yet I will read the writing unto the king.
I'll do it for free. Go ahead.
And make known to him the interpretation.
I'll explain what it said on the wall. Go ahead.
O thou king, the most high God gave Nebuchadnezzar thy father a kingdom, and majesty, and glory, and honor. And for the majesty that he gave him, all people, nations, and languages trembled and feared before him. Whom he would he shew.
Whom he would,
he slew.
He killed. Go ahead.
And whom he would, he kept alive. And whom he would, he set up. And whom he would, he put down.
The same power America has. Same exact thing. Whom he would, he slew. Whom he set up. Took down, he put down. The same thing America does. Go ahead.
But when his heart was lifted up,
when he got prideful, go ahead.
And his mind hardened in pride, he was deposed from his kingly throne. Deposed from his kingly throne. And they took his glory from him.
Because he bugged out. So he got rid of his ass, and then he came back to his senses and came back to his throne again. Go ahead.
And he was driven from the sons of men. And his heart was made like the beast. And his dwelling was with the wild asses. They fed him with grass like oxen, and his body was wet with the dew of heaven, till he knew that the Most High God ruled in the kingdom of men, and that he appointed over it whomsoever he will.
Go ahead.
And thou his son, O Belshazzar, hast not humbled thine heart, though thou knewest all these.
So you knew about these things. You read about your father's encounter with God himself, him being chased out of his kingdom, losing his mind. You knew all of this, and you still want to go be an arrogant ass and drink out of the God's temple stuff and the vessels in the temple. You arrogant and stupid as hell, was what Daniel was saying to him. Go ahead.
But have lifted up thyself against the Lord of heaven, and they have brought the vessels of his house before thee, and thou and thy lords, thy wives, and thy concubines have drunk wine in them, and thou hast praised the gods of silver and gold, of brass, iron, wood, and stone, which see not, nor hear, nor know, and the God in whose hand thy breath is, and whose are all thy ways, hast thou not glorified.
Yeah, watch this.
Then was the part of the hand sent from him, and his writing was written. And this is the writing that was written. Many, tikal.
Your father said, many means numbered. Go ahead.
This is interpretation, the thing. Many, many. God have numbered thy kingdom and finished it.
Your time is up. Your rulership is up. 70 years is officially complete. It's a wrap. Many mean number. Go ahead.
Tekel, thou art weighed in the balances and art found wanting.
Go ahead.
Paris, thy kingdom is divided
Paris goes into your farce and means divided. Go ahead.
and given to the Medes and Persians.
Your should be given, your land, your rulership shall be given to the Medes and the Persians. Why the Medes? Because Mary said earlier in Daniel that a nation inferior to you will come after you. And Nebuchadnezzar's dream. So the Medes is that inferior. The Medes ruled first, and then they ruled jointly with the Persians. The Medes were the ruling class first and foremost before the Persians took over. Go ahead. That's why it's called the Medo-Persian Empire. Then later on became the Persia-Mede Empire. Go ahead.
Then commanded Belshazzar, and they clothed Daniel with scarlet, and put a chain of gold about his neck, and made a proclamation concerning him, that he should be the third ruler in the kingdom.
The third king now. Go ahead.
And that night was Belshazzar the king of the Chaldeans slain.
How? How was he slain? Because the Medes were living among the Babylonians. The Medes were close to him. It was an inside job. That's why they got in the room and killed him, because the Medes were allied with the Babylonians. Remember, the Medes and the Babylonians allied together to overthrow Assyria. So the Medes were in the midst of Babylon, and they killed Belshazzar in his sleep. That's why Babylon wasn't burned. This Babylon wasn't burned. It was just given to new rulers. They killed the super and put a new super in there. It wasn't burned. It was taken like that. The Babylon to come, the Babylon that's prophesied is going to burn. This Babylon never burned. So a new Babylon, according to the Bible, is going to burn. That's this one we're in now. Read on.
And Darius the Median took the kingdom, being about 62 years old.
See? Darius the Median took the kingdom, and about 62 years old. He was 62 years old. Darius the Mede took the kingdom because they were allied with the Babylonians. Now, what time is it? 25. Give me the pamphlet again. Page 1011. So that marks the fall of Babylon. All right. 1011 you got? Let me see. Blow it up. Yeah. So foretelling of, now go down to the bottom. Right there.
Foretelling of the rise of Persian Mede Empire. One evening, King Belshazzar had a great feast and desired to mock the Most High and the enslavement of Israel. Then fingers of a man's hand appeared to him and all his guests, and began to write words upon a wall which none could interpret except the prophet Daniel.
You said that earlier. Go down. Go to the next page. So it says Darius the Mede took the kingdom. Go to the next page and read timeline of events. Go up some. You'll see many tekel Upharsin on the wall. Then you see them all terrified at the table. Blow it up some now. This is the words in the bottom. Blow it up. Move it over. All I want is the words. Timeline. Go ahead.
Timeline of events BC. 605, Babylonians conquered Assyria and defeat Egyptians at Carchemish.
That's false. It's not 605, it's 609. That's an error. 609, they conquered them at Carchemish. Go ahead.
Nebuchadnezzar becomes king of Babylon.
That's 609. Go ahead.
The Babylonians invade Judah.
That's 605. Go ahead.
First wave of deportation of Jews to Babylon. Daniel is taken captive and begins to prophesy.
So 609 is Battle of Carchemish. 609, he becomes king of Babylon. When the Assyrians fall, then they invade Judah in 605. Okay? Go ahead.
Babylonians battle Egypt. Both sides suffer losses. Judah decides to realign itself with Egypt. Jeremiah warns.
Well, King Zedekiah tried that. He got his eyes put out, and his sons killed in front of him. Go ahead.
Jehoiakim becomes king of Judah. Babylonians capture Jerusalem. Second wave of deportation to Babylon from Judah. Ezekiel is taken captive to Babylon. Zedekiah becomes king of Judah.
Right, okay. So Joachim allied with Egypt also. He got overthrown. Go ahead.
Ezekiel begins to prophesy. The Babylonians destroy Jerusalem and the temple.
9th of Av, the 9th of the month Av. That's the same month that the temple was destroyed when Rome also. Destroyed again. And the same time, I believe, when he got expelled from Spain. Same time again. Nothing new under the sun. I believe. Jerusalem's walls and gates are burnt with fire. That's the first temple destroyed. Go ahead.
Third wave of Jews deported to Babylon in the biblical First Temple period.
They got burned. Go ahead.
The end of the monarchy in Judah.
No more kings at this point. Go ahead.
The fall of Babylon.
We just read that. 539, Belshazzar is killed. That's the fall of Babylon. Go ahead. 609 to 539 is 70 years, approximately. Go ahead.
Beginning of the Persian period to 333 BC.
333, which starts Cyrus. All right. So now, next week will be the time of the Gentiles, Persia Medes. All right. Or Medo-Persia. All right. So we're going to end it on that note. Hope you guys enjoyed the class. Shout out to the IT team. Shout out to the breakfast team. This Persian captivity is going to be great. It's a very elaborate history, very, very difficult. I had some help. Captain Joel, Abaddon, I had some help going through the kings and so forth. So hope you guys enjoy it. A lot of things went on during the Persian captivity. A lot of things took place. Hopefully we're going to put it all in order, and you guys get to enjoy it. So hope you're taking good notes. All praise to the Lord. Any announcements?
Yes, sir. Hey, Israel, let's give Deacon another hand for that class, man. Rise of Babylon. We went through that whole series. Guys, you can all catch it on Our Hidden History Radio. You can go back and watch all the series, even back from the first season when Deacon first went into this world and the old world, all right? If you would like to donate to the show for Deacon to grab more books to bring out to Israel, you can donate on PayPal to iuic.philadelphia@israelunite.org. Once again, iuic.philadelphia@israelunite.org. Also, don't forget to donate to the Booster Club to help the leadership travel and spread this word throughout the whole four corners of the earth. You can donate on iuic.fundraising@israelunite.org. Once again, iuic.fundraising@israelunite.org.
And the books you donated, we're going to eventually go into them later on in the class. You're going to find that they're very important. This one, I believe, what's this one? Yeah, this one.
Yes,
right
sir.
here.
You showed that.
You showed it already? We showed this book to y'all last week. It's called The Flaming Torch in Darkest Africa by Bishop William Taylor. It's an 1800s book. It goes into how you had, I showed y'all last week about, it showed doubtful Hamites, true Negroes. I showed y'all that last week. This is the book right here. It's called The Flaming Torch in Darkest Africa by Bishop William Taylor, all right? I'll show you real fast if you got to go. This book here is an old 1800s book, and it goes into the details about people in Africa and how Esau can differentiate between true Ham and true Jakes among Ham, or Hams or possible Jakes where they couldn't determine, they couldn't tell because we mingle with them.
Sudanese
Negroes, things of that nature. So we're going to definitely get another book also that coincides with this one. I think it's Chambers Encyclopedia.
Yes, sir.
We're going to get that tie with this, and that ties together. So Loza will get that soon. We'll bring that stuff out as well. That all goes after Rome, so just stay tuned for that. All right? Anything else?
That's it, Deacon.
All right, so brothers and sisters, hope you enjoyed the lesson. We're now officially in Persian captivity, time of the Gentiles, so stay tuned for that next week, Lord's will. Shalom, the next week? Yes, it's the last time, right? It'll be the next week's the last week before Tabernacle. So,
right.
Lord's will, Persian captivity, we started off. All right, so shalom, Most High Christ bless. Thank y'all.
Shalom.
Most High Christ bless.
Searching for the road to the way back. We don't know our fathers going way back. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. We the chosen people, you say no way. Enemies are teaching you the wrong way. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.